morning. It might not be the morning where you are, but it's the morning where I am. It's about, it's noon. I'm having some Cheerios and a coffee. And like I said, I've had lots of extra time right now. So all my homies that I usually chat with all the time. Now I'm like, yo, let's do this. Let's get on this. So got my homie Nathan here from Lancashire, England. Nathan Decor. Nice Decor. That's right. Bring him on in. What's up, Al? Thanks for everyone for coming in. Let's get him on in here and have a nice chat today. I love this. I love Instagram. I love it for all that. Oi.
How we doing, Danny?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Not too bad, mate. And you?
I can't complain, man. I'm having some Cheerios.
Nice. I've just had some dinner and a nap.
Yeah, so it's about, 7 o'clock out there?
Yeah, man.
Nice.
1 minute to.
And you were saying that you just finished a nice bath, did you?
Every day, baby. Straight after work.
Nice little soak, huh?
Gotta be done, mate. What better way to wind down?
I agree, man.
After the day at work.
Well,
just give me 1 second, Danny. I just need to mute this chair.
Absolutely, man. What's up, AAA? How you doing, Scott? Everyone else coming in? What's going on? There he is.
Sorry, bro. I was just muting a chat because it just keeps coming up over your pretty face, man.
No worries. What's up? What are you up to?
Literally, man, just got home from finished that big project today. So I've actually got tomorrow off work.
Solid.
So I'm just going to get a takeaway with the missus later.
Nice.
Play a bit of the PlayStation and relax, man.
Right on. What are you playing these days?
Call of Duty Warzone.
Oh, man, my son, he's all over that. He's got an Xbox, though, but it's like my office is overrun. Battlefield?
Anything shooting.
Anything. He's the same, man. He likes the sniper games.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's all about, bro.
He loves that stuff, man. He absolutely loves it. I love it too, but like I've been saying before, I like to nap. So it's like if I get an extra minute, I'm like, yeah, fuck, I'm gonna take a nap, you know. But we play sometimes. We used to play a lot of like soccer and NHL and stuff like that.
Madden?
No, I don't know a lot about football. So I don't really know like how the plays work and stuff like that. So we would just play like FIFA or some NHL, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun. I mean, he's 14 now. So this month he'll be 14. So it's like, yikes.
Making you feel old, mate.
Oh, don't tell me that, man. Don't tell me that. Yeah, that's crazy. It's been a wild ride. You know, Lindsay, my wife, she was pregnant when she was 19. So it's been a journey, man. It's been a journey.
I'm a late bloomer on that front. Every time my missus gets broody, I buy her a puppy.
Ah, yeah, dude. We would be overrun with puppies. Well, like we've talked before, my wife likes to foster dogs, and the first foster that we did, we kept it. So I'm like, listen, you got to foster ugly dogs from now on because all the cute ones, you just want to keep them. Can't do it, man. My house would be full. It would be
just
full.
All dogs. I think I'm going to be like that, bro.
Yeah?
Just dogs.
Better than cats, I think, huh?
Yeah, cats are ignorant, man. Yeah. Cats are ignorant, bro. They come to you when they want.
Yeah, no doubt. Your house could be like burning and you'd be trying to put out the fire and they'd just be like chilling, watching you. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. For sure. Yeah. Nice. So what? Frick, man, I'm glad I've been able to get you on here. We talk so much behind closed doors, but I was saying to one other person, it's like when we do this, it's almost like now it's like we're actually like meeting sort of and like, hey, yeah, cool, man, what's going on?
Yeah,
like,
we've been talking for so long, but we've never spoke real time.
No.
You know, it's back and forth messages and whatnot. So it's nice, bro. It's long overdue.
It is long overdue, man. But I see that you guys have been doing a lot more spraying now into your systems, right? How you liking that? You're loving that Titan, eh?
Love it, man. Love it, mate. Love it. It's just great. I've always had the passion for painting, and my dad's always pushed the prep.
Yeah.
But there's a big difference now. The prep that we had to do when you're rolling a wall, it's really forgiving. The prep, especially 10 years ago when I started. I'm not gonna lie. It used to be knock a few nibs off, repaint.
Yep.
Job done. No one around here really knows the spraying. Down south, there's quite a lot. You're coming into the country quite a lot down south. Where I live, we're all farmers, mate. So it's really, like Chris likes to say, we're cavemen over here. We've only just got 15-inch rollers in my local. I think they had a Titan 440 in Nice Decor where I shop for my stuff. It was there for 6 months, and once that was gone, that was it. You know, there's no more spraying coming in. But we love it, mate. It's I thought before coming on Instagram, I mean, our work was good, and I thought, yeah, we're at the what more can I learn sort of thing. I knew, you know, you're never going to be the best. I think you can always be learning something. But it's opened up such a world for me, spraying. It's just, I just love it, mate.
So are you finding it is a little bit faster? Or is it sort of turning out to be the same? It's like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You're prepping for like 4 days, you spray for 20 minutes or vice versa type thing, right?
Yeah, see, there's a big misconception with my clientele. They think if I've got a spray, they're like, oh, yeah, I'm cheaper, well quicker. And I'm like, no. I'm like, firstly, specialist finish. It really depends. Like, if I'm going into a new build and I'm just spraying plaster, then, yeah, you can just smash through houses and then... But I'm sort of targeting the domestic market with the finish of sprayers and whatnot. So there's all the masking and whatnot, furniture to protect, and it is finding the times. Like if a house is fully furnished, we can't really spray it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you know, you can centralize everything in the center of the room. We've got about this much. Well, you can't see about a meter around the bed to work, and you just can't do it. But yeah, it's just, as my dad always says, more strings to your bow. Yeah,
for sure. So are you finding that people, like when you say, hey, we can offer this now, or guys kind of like in your area kind of, you know what I mean? Like how do you work that in now?
I've got to have a bit of a pitch. I've got to go in there. It's more like an extra service I can offer. Now, I'm, without trying to be arrogant to my clients, they don't really know what spray finish is. They just associate spraying with speed. So luckily with my Instagram, I've got all the stuff that I can show, like your finishes and some of the sills that I've done when I've had chances to get the sprayer out. It's picking up now because I've now got that portfolio. But it's sort of like I go into a job and I'm like, right, well, do you want a spray finish? Or do you want it, we're talking woodwork mostly here, or do you want just brush and roller finish, you know, it's either key sanding woodwork, undercoat and gloss, or do you want it mercury with the dustless sanding systems and then spraying? So it's more of a specialised finish, which you can charge a bit more for, but I have to go in with a pitch. I have to sort of, they have to know what they're getting for it, because they can't understand why I'm charging more.
Yeah.
So I've got to, you know.
Yeah, so now it's like you have to like sell them on the service a little bit because maybe they don't really even know what you're talking about, right?
100%, mate. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So is there a lot of restoration type work too, or? I mean, you said it's a lot of farmhouse stuff. Okay, so let me get this straight. You're in Lancashire? Lancashire. Okay, so that's north. Oh man.
Northwest.
Of what though? Like, oh man, here's a dumb Canadian.
England.
Like England, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, oh fuck. There's probably a lot of guys on here. I see a lot of guys posting like a lot of eggplants on here. They must like the pee-pee because they just keep posting eggplants on here and stuff. So, but either way, and I just didn't want to get it wrong because next thing you know, you'd be like, fuck, you fucking dumb.
To be honest, mate, England's that small. Like, there's some states that are as big as England. We're tiny.
Dude, it was the same thing with Australia. I was like, so where are you in? And I started looking it up and I'm like, damn, there's a ton of like places like inside of Australia. And I'm like, man, I'm going to get this wrong.
Yeah.
You know, I just think England. And I just think, well, England, London. And that's it.
That's it. Manchester United.
Well, I mean, I used to watch those hooligan documentaries with the soccer fights and stuff like that.
Yeah, Green Street.
Crazy, man. Crazy. What is it, like the Manchester Smiles? Is that what it's
Chelsea
called?
Grin.
The Chelsea Grin? That's scary, man.
Card. If you get a bank card and then they kick you in the nuts or something, and you go, and it just cuts through the side of your cheeks.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, there's like, there's another one with newspaper, like they fold the newspaper that many times, it goes like as hard as a brick. They're just nutters, mate. We used to be a bit like that with the rugby. I follow a lot of rugby.
Yeah.
And we had a firm, not a firm, it's not quite as bad as football, but we used to go and have a scrap with other teams and whatnot. We were called the Brigantes, Wigan Brigantes.
Oh, wow.
But Wigan, rugby's more of a family sport. So if we let a few flares off, that was it. We were banned for the year.
I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the gentleman's sport, right? That's what's supposed to be the gentleman's sport, right?
Supposed to be, mate. Yeah.
It's supposed to be. Yeah, that's a rough sport, man. Like I thought hockey was pretty rough, but well, it is rough. But I mean, like that's very physical for sure.
Yeah, it's yeah, it just is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like me,
there are rules. Like you can't go in. You know, like with American football, they'll just jump in with the shoulder.
Yeah.
You can't do that in rugby. You have to perform a proper tackle. But you can, if you've got the ball in your hand, then you can hurt people because you can offload, you can hand off. And
I heard that was different in the Irish league, though. I heard it was you can. It's all go apparently. I could be wrong.
Irish stuff, yeah. It's a bit like Aussie rules. You know Aussie rules stuff, don't you?
Oh man, I don't know.
You know Canadian though, right?
Well, it's like there's not a ton of rugby here for that. Like even our soccer team is like it's all hockey here. And then like skiing and stuff. We had the Canada Olympic Park where we are here, but it's like they don't do anything there. There was a bobsled track there. Well, you've been here, so you kind of know, right?
Yeah. We flew to Calgary, and then we did a land tour around the Rockies, which was cool. That lasted a week, but it was in summer.
Oh, yeah.
So there was no snow or anything. But we did go past the Winter Olympics slope.
Sorry,
and then we boarded. Oh, good, bro. We boarded the ship in Vancouver and then sailed Alaska for a week on a cruise.
Nice. You like that, huh?
Yeah, we're cruisers, man.
Yeah?
We're cruisers.
How was it? I've never been on a cruise. I get that claustrophobic. No, hey.
Nah, I've got to argue that, bro, because these ships are massive. They're like 150 to 200,000 tons. Wow. Some of them are a mile round. Like that. It's like a huge hotel with everything, all the bits and pieces, like 12 pools, 12 bars, a cinema, a theater, rock climbing walls. They've got wave pools. They've got everything, bro.
That's crazy.
Everything. But it's awesome. You wake up at a new place every day. We've done Rome, Pisa, Herculaneum, Pompeii. You see everything.
Yeah.
All the typical postcard places.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like when you go to bed at night in your holiday in Spain, but then you wake up like in Italy. So maybe not that much of a distance,
right.
But we wake up in a new place every day.
That's sweet. So how many stops did your cruise make? Because I know they make a few, right? Yeah,
typically we do a 2-week cruise, but that one was 1 week because we did the land tour previous. So every day on the land tour we'd go somewhere else and stop in a lodge, and then I think we stopped at about 6 different places around Alaska. We did British Columbia.
Yep.
Lake Louise.
Oh yeah, nice.
That was really nice. Yeah. In honesty, mate, I'm gonna sound really bad, but I can't remember them all. There's that many.
For sure, absolutely, man. Now I've been to. I was in Pompeii too when I was younger. My mom's from Italy, so when we went, they took us to all the spots: Colosseum, St. Peter's Basilica, all that stuff. Yeah. The volcano, Vesuvius. It was cool, man. It was a really cool experience to see that.
That was fun, man.
Yeah,
it's really awesome, cool. Man. It's awesome when you think about it, and there's still paintings on the walls in some of these places.
Yeah.
Herculaneum actually was a bit more to see because Pompeii was covered in the actual lava.
Yeah.
Whereas Herculaneum was covered by the ash cloud that travelled and then dropped.
Crazy.
So Herculaneum was a lot easier for them to dig up, and it was covered better, protected better.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we didn't get to see the Sistine Chapel because it was closed for restoration, so they wouldn't let anybody in. That would have been really cool to see. We've
done Sistine Chapel.
Incredible, eh?
Yeah, well, we've been back to Italy 3 times.
Oh,
3 times.
Jesus.
Particularly Rome. We love Rome, but it's so hot. Like when you go to Rome and you see them groups of tourists up there with the number, that's us, bro. But they have you stood still for like 6 hours, and because we're English, man, and it's so cold over here.
Yeah.
We're just burning up, bro.
I bet. Yeah. So it's
so hot, bro.
Usually cold there, hey?
Cold and wet.
Cold and wet.
We don't get any of the good sunshine. If it snows, it turns into sleet.
All right.
That's why everyone's so miserable, bro.
Hey, I feel you sometimes, man. Today it must be like close to minus 30, like with a little bit
Yeah, it
of.
gets colder there than it gets colder
Oh, it's
here.
brutal. And I'm supposed to go pick up another piece of furniture today, and I'm kind of like, do I really want to do that today? But you just got to do it, man. It's all good. If you got some all-wheel drive, you'll be okay. But it's
Get snow tires on.
Yeah, well, I have just all seasons, which suck. But if you got four-wheel drive, it's not too bad. But it's just people just get crazy, man. It's like they forget how to drive. Really,
Yeah.
they just get nuts. So yeah. But what's in the agenda for you now, man? You just finished a big job, so what else is on the go? What are you guys up to?
Yeah, straight out to another job on Monday. Like I say, tonight and tomorrow, I'm just gonna take time to relax, put my feet up. My head's pretty battered, to be fair, after this job. I don't know how much you've been following it, but we've been on and off it since I think like the 10th of December. We had it nearly finished on the 24th or something like that. Excuse me. We had all the woodwork sprayed, all the walls sprayed. So we was ready to come in and do ceilings in the back house. Since then, the floors have been levelled, and then the wood floor's been put in, so you know what the skirts are going to look like.
Oh, man.
And then the kitchen was fitted, which means there's marks all over the walls. So we essentially did a new build spray finish, except for ceilings, and then came back and did a repaint. But we were sort of balancing, like, I mean, the plastering for a start was really bad. When we quoted the job, the plasterer was there working, and he says, "You lads are going to hate us. Painters hate glass." And I was like, "Hang on a minute. And we love glass." I was like, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I can just go in.
Yep.
So I put my mist coat on, bro, and it was like literally every square foot, big plaster drips on the walls, gouges in the corners. I've had to skim ceilings. Like I had to stop what I was doing after the mist coat and have a word with my client and say, "Look, I've quoted to come in." It was also kind of on me because I quoted it before it was ready for me to really see what I was doing, how much. So I took his word for it. So we quoted this job, and we damn near got paid all that prior to Christmas. And then when I came back and there was all these marks and knocks in the woodwork, I was like, I'm going to come back and fix this. I put a week aside. I had to get my dad out of retirement to come and help me finish it.
Yeah.
And we had to charge him more, but at the same time, it's not his fault and it's not our fault. So we sort of had a chat, got to an agreement. I worked for a bit less, so I didn't earn much this week, but we earned some. But we got the job finished to the standard we wanted, so it was one of them. But my head's pretty battered from it.
Yeah, that's tough. So was it a client run? Like, wasn't GC builder run? It was all being run by the client?
No, it was all through client. Yeah, the client literally just designed this house himself. He got the plaster in, he got the joiner in, and then he got us in. And it was balanced a little bit. I mean, you know how it is. You know, people see plaster on the wall and they're like, right, let's get that painted.
Yeah.
And then we'll get the kitchen fitted, and then the painter can just come and fix the skirts. And it's like, not really going to work like that because your joiner's going to knock it. We always say we're the icing on the cake, man. We're the cherry on top.
100%.
But if the cake ain't finished,
it's gonna look like crap, man. And then you got to do it, and then, well, maybe not, but like they'll make it look like crap. And like you said, then you got to come and repaint it. And it was one step that could have been cut out that could have had your client into their space sooner. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, that's too bad. So how do you? Because when I go in to do stuff like that, man, I'm pricing it for every single unforeseen thing that can happen, especially with clients. If you see that they're starting to like plan it and schedule it, I'm like, oh no. So like, hey man, you should maybe try and do it like this. So do you struggle with that, or do people are they set in their schedules and how they want to book their trades? Is there a system on how guys book their trades? Like, is it usually like, you know?
It's hit and miss. Like I say, most of our jobs here are sort of repaints or restorations. I'm trying to get away from the repaint side of things just because I'm not pushing out the standards there that I want to. A repaint, especially over here, you know, you just sand down your woodwork for a key, and then you undercoat and gloss.
Yeah.
It's not about the money so much for me, as much. I mean, obviously more money's great.
Yeah.
But I want to push my business. So like I can do a really good job for an elderly lady, and I've done it nice, and it's exactly what she wanted. But then her son could walk in, And she'll go, oh, yeah, have you seen my decorating? And she's happy with it. She gets what she wanted. But he'll see a little bit down there, a little bit up here, which, you know, we give her exactly what she wanted. But I want, when people speak about my company, I want to be like, yeah, it might cost you a bit, but you're going to get everything. So now I'm sort of, I'm losing a few more jobs because I'm saying, look, I won't just go in and put 2 coats over your staircase just because you're going to be happy with it. If I see something, I'm like, I've just got to quote with a job tonight, freshly plastered. And the plasters here really aren't good anymore.
Okay, so hold on. So when you say plaster, is that like because like here it's like the drywall board and then they just mud and tape it, but over there is it like full skim of plaster, right?
Yeah, so we board it, we get it boarded, and then our plaster's more of like a pinky clay colour. And they just skim the lot, but there's no sanding afterwards because they've got to keep the trowels wet, and if it's done right, it is like glass.
Wow.
Like it's an art. It's really an art over here, but I think it's a bit of a lost art now.
A dying art.
Dying art, mate. Yeah.
That's too bad. So how do you fix it if it's bad? Can you sand it, or do you have to coat it first?
It can be sanded, yeah. It can be sanded, but we have to, you know, fill and sand where we need, add skin where we need. It's like that ceiling. I mean, it was nice and smooth, but there were ripples in it and waves all over. So I'm just like looking at it, and you only really see it so much when you put your coat of paint on.
Yeah.
And I'm sat looking at it, and I'm like, see, I can't leave it like that because the paint looks good. You know, I've done my job right, but you know, he's just paid so much money for all his expensive kitchen and all these expensive marble, big tile marble bathrooms. And because we're the last men on the job, it's always down to us to fix it. Do you know what I mean?
For sure. So, and that's the problem with it, because then how do you start to quote jobs when you don't really know what you're walking into?
Well, this is the thing. So this is where I went wrong, and I'm learning now to back myself a little bit more with sort of a disclaimer or something, because I quoted that job on the base that I was told it's going to be like glass. So my client says, right, you can just come in and spray. And I saw it, so he's saying like, right, there'll be skirts here, you'll be pre-finished, you know. And I'm like, right, well, do they fill you can tell I just woke up. Did he fill the pinholes, you know? Because joiners used to do all the caulking. Yep. Joiners used to have everything flush, so that we used to just go in and paint.
Right.
Now it's not, and I can sort of understand joiners not caulking, because caulking onto bare wood and caulking onto bare plaster, you know, so I can understand it a bit.
Oh man.
But pinholes and so pinholes, and it's like we really don't know. So I'm having to start to say to my clients now, well, look, like I went and quoted one today, and it's through a building contractor for his client. So he's sort of the guy that tells everyone where to go, but he doesn't really know the job. So I've gone in, and the first thing I've done now is fill the walls, because he's saying, right, you know, do us a good price, you know. You can come in and spray it if you want, do what you want. This plaster is really good. So I've felt the walls, and I've gone, right. So I'm just going to tell you now, I don't want to disrespect anybody, because I think it's really unprofessional for me to go in.
Yeah, but that's hard though, bro, because I know it's not, you don't want to trash the trade before you or after you, but at the same time, it's like if they have an expectation of you and your quality of finish, it's like sometimes you just got to be like, hey man, like it's not that good. So
yeah, literally, yeah. That's exactly what I did. The client was just stood there like clueless, and he was trying to work out what I'm going to do. He just wants a good price so we can make his money off top of mine.
100%.
The contractor. So, which I'm fine with at the end of the day. He, you know, he's got me the job, added 20%, whatever. But I'm not going to go in cheap for that. If he wants my work, I'm going to add it on, and if he can still get the job, then fine. But I went in and I felt the walls, and I was like, no, look, I can't just come in and paint this. I was like, it may look good to you now, but when I put a coat on this, you're going to see like even just like drier spots. It's like really shiny glass and then a blemish. Yeah. And they're really going to show, especially when you're talking spraying with fat in the back roller with the fine roller.
And then as soon as you touch it, then it's like anything they see from the last guy, it's like, whoa, well, this is you. It's your responsibility now to fix it, right?
Well, this is the thing. But the difficulty is with plastering, you can't really see it. So they've been paid and they've gone, started another job by then.
Yeah.
So I come in and it's like, it's going to cost me to fix it.
Yeah.
You know? So this is why we had that difficulty with my previous client, because I felt really bad on him. He'd already paid his plaster and gone. And he'd promised him glass. And I remember the first day I walked in and he said, "What do you think of plastering?" I said, "It doesn't look too bad, but I'm not really going to be able to see it in its full potential until I put a coat on it."
One for sure.
And then I put a coat on it and I just put everything down. And I was like, "Ed, I need to have a chat with you, mate." And he come in and was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Just look." And I let him make his own mind up first. I said, "Now I can fix it." But I've quoted to come in, you know, and be able to just spray, because you expect the plasterers over here to just go in and spray. You know, it's the same as, you know, taper guys, the tape and sand.
For sure.
It goes on, or one or two skims, and it should come out like glass.
Mm-hmm. So then you're priming the plaster, right? So maybe I would say, like, get this guy to prime it, get the plaster to prime it, so then he can see what the hell he's done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point.
You know what I mean? Because then you're like, well, shit, like, you're not going to see if it's bad until I put the primer on it. So have him put the goddamn. Well, that could be opening a whole nother can of worms.
I'll be sanding that down anyway.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's crazy.
No,
that's too bad.
This is the grey area, you see, because by the time I've started that job, I've got 2 weeks booked in to be doing that work.
Yeah.
So then when I come to my client and he's been done by, it's not the client's fault at the end of the day. So when I come in and this job's been booked in for 3 months or something, then I've got work for 3 months after that. So I've only got this 2 weeks to be able to do it. What do I say to him? Do I say, "Look, I'll put it right, but it's going to cost you more"? Or do I say, "Look, get your plasterer in, but now I'm going to have to charge your tools down because I've got 2 weeks booked aside for this"? Do you know what I mean? I won't have to charge him for 2 weeks, but I'll have to charge him days to be able to put something in its place. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Because you booked time aside, and I can't just say, "Right, I'll come back as soon as it's done," because I've got other clients that I'm committed to. So it is a grey area, but we're sort of just learning. The more disclaimers we put in there, you know, we're backing ourselves more.
Yeah. Well, that's what you kind of need to do, right? And then, like I've always said, eventually then you can just go and pick the stuff that you want to do. You know, once you have that reputation, you can just be like, "Well, look, this is that. Here's a reference. Here's this, there's that." Because I know what it's like sometimes, man, when you go in and you feel like you're talking to a client or a contractor and you feel like you have to justify why you're doing it a certain way and why it's priced a certain way. And then sometimes there's just like blinders and it's like, did you even care what I just said? And sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
So that's a hard one, man. 'Cause sometimes you just have to be like, "Dude, I'm walking. Call me when it's ready."
Yeah.
You know, because if you're booked back, because how do you book it? You guys are usually, you don't overlap jobs, hey?
No. See, we're sort of week in, week out. I mean, if it's a bedroom or a full house, we'll commit however long that's going to take, with a few days either side to back ourselves in case it runs over. And then you're paid straight at the end of the job. So my bookings are really tight schedules. I'll get booked up probably in between 3 and 6 months ahead, Monday to Friday, and I'll do a Monday to Friday. If it's a 2-week job, that's 10 days. And then I get the little jobs that come in, and they were like, "When can you do it?" And I'm like, "It's a small job. I'll come on the weekend for you."
Yeah.
So then every single day is taken up, because I'm young. I'm gunning for it. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come do it."
How old are you?
28.
Oh, fuck yeah. Grind it, man. I'm sure your wife won't like that, but I mean, I know how that's like. Because how do you say no? How do you say no, right?
This is the thing, mate. Yeah, this is the thing. You can't.
Yeah.
I could explain that to my wife, because I can't say no to my missus.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one. And I mean, I've got small kids, and I remember probably 2 or 3 times I must have worked straight for like 4 or 5 months. And my wife was choked, and I was starting to get to that point where I was like, all right. And you start doing all the numbers and you're like, is this really worth it? And it's the side jobs. And I think it really depends on how you capitalize on the money when you make it, right? If it's like, I go and just like blow it, then it's like, well, that was fucking pointless. So yeah, it's a tough one, man.
That's why I keep myself working, bro, because where I see a weekend, my missus is younger than me as well, so she likes to drink. and she drinks something. So it's like,
Yo, man, I don't think that my missus likes to drink too. While I work, I don't know if you've seen that post the other day. I'm like doing like the wallpaper. She's taking like screenshots of her drinking wine and me working. I'm like, what the fuck?
We're getting arguments all the time. I'm like, I'm working tomorrow. And you're sat with your Alexa on.
Oh, man. And that must be hard, right? Because you guys are still young. You're like, not bachelors, but I mean, it's like you have no kids. You're like, you can do whatever the fuck you want, right? So that would probably be hard a little bit.
I mean, the thing is for me, I would say, without going into too much detail, I had a good childhood. Plentiful in the drinking and whatever else, and going out and getting hammered all the time. Painting really saved me from that because I was going down the wrong path.
Yeah, you were saying that, yeah.
Yeah, so my dad got me into painting, and this was actually the reason my dad restarted painting. He was a chef. So basically, when he was younger, I know you probably know the story, but everyone else might not.
Absolutely, yeah. No, tell them.
So when I was just finished school, I went from job to job for about 6 months, and I couldn't sit anything because I was out with my mates all the time, getting smashed, as you do. And I really had no motivation. If I worked, I wanted my £200 so I could go and spend it on the weekend and get hammered. So my dad saw me going down this path. I had debt up to my eyeballs, credit cards, and payday loans, and other people. And all these letters started coming through the door. And I'm just wondering, I'd be like, what are they going to do? Send bailiffs round?
Well, I mean, which they would, but I mean, at the end, I don't know how it works over there, but it's like, sometimes it's like you can just swipe it and start fresh. But yeah, I get it. Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, so my dad starts seeing these letters coming through the door, on top of a few other things which I won't go into.
That's cool.
But he opened one of them.
Good for
and
him.
He read it, and he was like, he sat me down one day, and he actually came to tears. Not just because of the money thing, but because of the other stuff. And it really opened my eyes. Seeing my dad like that, because it showed me how much he was putting into me. And then he just says, right, that's it. He took me out one day. He started taking me fishing. That's why I love fishing.
Yeah, nice.
Keeping me busy. And then he says, right, I'm starting decorating again, and you're coming working for me. Well, yeah, cool. And he didn't just start decorating out of nowhere. He'd obviously served his time and worked as a decorator when he was my age. So this is why we were so old school for so long. My first ceiling I painted was by brush, and it was a big hall ceiling.
All by brush?
All by brush. We did a pebble dash exterior. We did an exterior pebble dash, with the stones. All by brush.
That's old school, eh?
Yeah, really, really bad. Yeah. But we learned a lot of the fundamentals from that. Well, I did personally. Yeah. I think if I'd have learned taping, I won't be able to cut a line the way I do. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And I think it's the same. I think you have got to learn certain aspects of it. Like sanding down, if I'm training someone, I wouldn't give them Merca straight away. I'd give them a piece of 120, and I'd be like,
there we go.
For 6 months.
I was talking about that the other day with Mick there. Well, yesterday, and I was saying like, hey man, like there's principles, and it's cool to expedite it because a lot of people are like, work smarter, not harder. It's like, okay, cool, but you can only do that once you've learned all the other steps below. Because if you just jump the gun, I'm working smarter, not harder. Sometimes you don't even know why you're doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly right. This is what I was having that chat with my dad today, and we were talking about how far the business has come in the last 2 years, and how much Instagram's helped us. But we always have my dad sort of like feels a bit like he's not good anymore because I'm careering ahead. I can pick up all this stuff quicker than he can. But I had to say to him, I was like, look, the only reason I'm learning this so quick is because of the 10 years you had me undercoating doors, standing down walls on a pole, the 120 on a pole. That gives you the understanding, like you said, the fundamentals. Now, if I get, when I had Jack working for me, if I gave him Merca, he'd take it all back down to bare wood, and he wouldn't be able to control the thing. You got to go softly with it. You got to learn why you're doing things.
100%, man. And I, if your dad's in here right now, I don't think he should feel that way, man, because they're the foundation. They were the ones that set the foundation. So all these guys nowadays, they can say whatever they want. It's just evolving. That's all it's doing, right? But it all evolved from a place. It's not like guys nowadays are like, yep, I fucking invented this system. It's like, no,
Yeah.
you learned that from somewhere down the line from somebody who's been doing this the hard way already.
Yeah,
right?
That's why it was invented, to make that hard job easier.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, no disrespect to your dad or my dad, but sometimes, like, my dad was, you know, an immigrant, moved to Canada. He was a really, really hard worker. And nothing to, even against the immigrants. It's just more like sometimes they stay in this little small box and like they don't, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's resentment that he had to come here, and maybe it was because he was forced to come here, whatever was happening in his country, but he never wanted to get out of that box, you know, until he started seeing us get older, and then we start to do things different. Then he starts to be, because my dad was fucking hardcore strict, man. He was a hard ass. So, but now that I'm an adult and I have my own company and I have my own family, man, I can't, like, I have so much respect for him because, like I said, it's the foundation. So it's like, you wouldn't be there if it wasn't for that. Like, yeah, maybe now you've, you know, finessed it different. You've learned things. Cool. But everyone can still do that. Right. So your dad's freaking awesome, man. Your dad is seriously one of the funniest guys on Instagram. Fucking hands down.
You know, bro, it's exactly the same. My dad used to be the strictest dad. Like, I'd get home from school and he'd be asleep on the couch and I'd be tiptoeing. I used to come to the window sometimes and be like, Dad's asleep, we'll go back out for an hour. Like, if I woke him up, well, I'd be here.
Was he sleeping though, or is he one of those dads that's like,
yeah.
My dad was that, man. You'd think sometimes he's sleeping, but he'd be all like, and you're like, oh shit.
My dad actually, he hung a belt on the wall once.
Oh jeez.
And it was more of a scare tactic, but me being a cheeky little knave, he hangs out on the wall and says, now if you touch that, you'll get it. So we walks down the stairs and I'm like, so he comes back upstairs and he didn't hit me hard with it, but he gave me a slap on the leg with it. It taught me respect, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I would never, like, he wouldn't ever come home and hurt me. Never. He's not one of them dads at all, you know. But he was strict. He had an older mum and dad who did, you know, if he get a clip on ear if he did that wrong. If he backchides, that'd be it, you know. But he still sort of got some of the old-fashioned, demanding respect sort of thing. 100%.
And that's what helped you, like you said, right? Brought 100%. You into painting, and that's what fathers are for, man. So I would hug him right now. I would hug him right now. Hey?
Yeah. This is the thing, you know, every day when I go home from work now, I give my dad a hug and tell him I love him. But up until 2 years ago, I don't think we'd ever hugged. Like, we were really tough love sort of. But I thrive more off that. I'm very the same. I struggle with expressing emotion, especially when it's like sadness and anything like that, or love. I express it more through actions, like I'll do something for somebody. But I can't sit and cry, and I can't, you know, if someone says I love you, I'll be like, love you.
Oh, man. Honestly, I think, well, we've chatted about this, man, right? Like, my dad's to a point now where, oh, man, it's, when they start to get older, and then you start to see how they start to see life when they get to that age where their time's kind of ticking.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. I have the best relationship with my dad now than I've ever did. But like I've told you now, it's like his age is getting to him. And sometimes, you know, I'm kind of like, fuck. It's like, you know, his memory's sort of going. And now with COVID, like I've told you, I can't get over there. So.
Yeah, we've chatted about that a few times. That's got to be tough.
Yeah, you keep hugging and kissing your dad, man. Don't give a fuck about anything else. Because I'm telling you, man, now that I have kids and my father's older, man, it's a weird, it's an eye-opening feeling. Even more, like I said, even more.
You'll still feel like that kid every now and again, though, won't you? You'll still feel like his little boy.
Oh, man. And I actually want to feel that, because now it's like the time's ticking. So it's like, now I know it sounds crazy, but now it's like,
you want to go back there.
I want to make sure I touch his skin one more time and smell his smell. Like, because that shit's, I'm telling you, man, we could go, but either way, big ups to your dad, man. Because like, look where you guys are, right?
I've got a lot to thank him for. Like we all have. Though.
Yeah, but you're thanking him right now by doing all the things that he hoped that you would do when he came to you, right? Because you could have been like, fuck that, I'm not going to be a decorator.
Literally, for the first 5 years, bro, it was just work.
Yeah.
You know, I dragged my feet, varnish that door, Nate. You know what I mean? I just smashed that clear coat on there. be running down all
Oh,
the
shit.
But my passion came for it really when I went on my own, when I started getting callbacks. Because the callbacks used to be on my dad. He'd have to go and fix all my mistakes. And I'd just go, you only pay me £60 a day. But I wasn't aware of that. We're pushing standards now that are big on Instagram.
Yeah.
They're not big over here. You know, there's so many just repainters around here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got so much to thank you for in that respect. But like I say, he wasn't always loving. But I think he used to say to me with the decorating, I'm now, because I'm 28 and I've got my business where it's at, I've got my whole life ahead of it.
Yeah.
So I'm pushing and spraying, and I'm pushing dustless sun, and I'm looking for all these avenues. My dad would never have bought a sprayer. He would never have got dustless sanding. When I was showing him it all, I was like, look at this, all starry-eyed. And he was like, you know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks and all that.
Yeah, I think it's
because his aim.
Go ahead.
Sorry. His aim with the business was so that when he wasn't here, he knew I'd be all right. That was all he's ever wanted to do with it, and he's voiced that. So I think he's a lot happier now because he can sit back and know, you know, that because he was always worried when I went on my own that I won't give it my all, and then it just, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well,
without him there to back me.
My dad never pushed us to do painting, but when we told him we were going in for business for ourselves, I could tell he was worried. He was like, man, if you're going to do that, like save up 6 months, rainy day fun, because that's hard. Because he never did that. When he came here, he took that solid, job with the benefits, with, the holiday pay, all that kind of stuff, which was great because he didn't want the stress because he started later on in life. But yeah, it's a tough one, man, because they don't understand either a little bit. Hopefully your dad's not like my dad, and my mom's the classic Italian. Have you ever seen Everybody Loves Raymond? The mom from Everybody Loves Raymond, Marie? That's my mom, okay? So my mom will always be like, oh, you guys don't work so hard. You guys are working so... Oh, I'm like, Ma?
Yeah.
I'm like, take it easy. This isn't like 1950. This is like now. And we have the technology and the tools and the avenues to go and get information like right now. Right?
Yeah.
And they're scared of losing their traditions. That's what I see that from my mom all the time. I'm like, Ma, I'm starting my own new traditions. That's what it's about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that's what they're mostly worried about is those traditions they've worked their whole life to instill in us. They don't just want them pissed away, right? At least that's what I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, so, of course, mate. Yeah.
It's a tough one, man, but whatever. Has your dad gone on the gun? I bet you he loves it.
Yeah. This is the thing. When I was showing him my phone and I'd be like, look at this. I used to show him your videos and I'd be like, look at the finish we can get. And he was like, I can do that with an oil brush.
Well,
oil-based. But and to be fair, he was good with an oil brush. Yeah. Oil-based paint, because it does tighten out anyway.
Yep.
As long as you leave it with, little coats often, sort of thing. And it does level out nice. And he's good on a brush. But so it's like you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
That's tough. It's tough.
But he'd never actually seen your finish sort of thing in the flesh.
Yeah.
So it's a different, and being old fashioned, they'll go, oh yeah, I can do that. But they know they can't.
Yeah, and I think it's more the old fashioned too is like everything looks good in a picture. Because when I was coming up, that's what all the builders would say, like, yeah, cool, man, but I still have to come and see your work. I'm like, yeah, all right, come and see it. So I started realizing that's like, it's good, but it's also the old school guys, like, they don't go off pictures, man, at least here. And now it's just like, okay.
The thing is, they're stuck in their old ways. Yeah. They're like, this is the way I learned. This is the best way. But the thing is, that was only because I was showing it from camera. I then went out on my own. I was like, I'm getting a sprayer. I'm getting this. So I got it. And I only had that ground entry level OZO.
Yeah.
Really, I just wanted to see if it could fit in my market with my clients, which that's where it took off.
100%.
From the day that sprayer turned up, I couldn't even get it going. I was like I'd turn it on and it was making a but there was nothing coming through it. And I threw my gun over and I thought, I'm not, excuse my language, I'm not enough. My dad goes trotting on upstairs. Hey, Dad, come have a look at this. Bring the room out in like 5 minutes. He was buzzing, proper buzzing with it. And then it's like the same with the Mercury systems. He was like, it's a bit expensive that. You can do it by hand. you can still sand that. And I'm like, well, yeah, you can. But it's going to take me like a week.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with the plaster. Especially with the plaster, right? Is that kind of why you guys use the Mercas and stuff? Yeah.
See, I'm actually now looking into getting the Leros.
Oh, right.
Because of now that I'm getting into the spray jobs, my clients, I'm not really getting repaints so much anymore. I'm going down, you know, if you do a good job for one guy, it turns into two, turns into four. And so it's like, that's where my clients are opening up now. New builds, domestics, not really commercial new builds at the minute. It's a whole different kettle of fish with regards to how you get paid and whatnot. And I haven't got the backing for that yet.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. So are you going and is it still mostly referral, people knocking on your door? Or are you going and pitching your services now with your new skills and stuff? Like, are you going?
I don't advertise. It's always been other than my Instagram. I get work from Insta. I get work from my Facebook.
Nice.
But it's all word of mouth. You know, we're not in a big city here, so word spreads pretty quick.
Yeah. What's the population?
Probably like 1,500 around here.
Oh wow, that's like a hamlet.
yeah, bro. Literally.
Okay, like really small country sort of side town.
So it's like villages surrounded by villages, surrounded by towns, and then by cities.
So
we're really.
So do you go outside of that to paint as well, or do you try and keep it all in that?
I'll go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I'll work. We've been over to the Isle of Man. We've been down to London doing work for BAE Systems, which is British Aerospace. So all of the people who work for BAE, which make all the planes and jets and whatnot, their workers get put up in loads of blocks of flats in London. So we went down to London. I'll go anywhere, but I always have to just say, look, if it's any more than an hour out, you know, I don't know if you want to look locally, but I'm going to have to charge a travel time.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose an hour in the morning, an hour at night. Either that or I'm going to have to put myself up, which we have. We've been up and worked in Wales a couple of times. We'll go anywhere, mate, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's all, you know, follow the work. I love the job. So I love working. So if I get an opportunity to go and do a spray job, I'm like, rubbing my hands together. It's still practice to me.
Yep.
I'm not going to pretend I'm got your quality of spraying, because I'm not. I can achieve the standard, but I may have to go over it a couple of times and re-prep it every now and again.
That's how I got there, man. I put in a lot of extra time invested over and above the quote just so I could learn it, right? Because it's like you say, and then, because this is what I was going to ask you, is there a lot of competition in your area? And then if you go outside of your area, are you competing more against other painters because the population increases? And then if it does, how do you set yourself as different than your competition, right? Like, what do you like, people are they not spraying as much as you, or is it still mostly traditional?
So there's about 4 painters around here that I'm friends with, and I've done a lot of work with them when I was younger. That was sort of my little sneaky way of trying to become the better one. Like, I just sit there quietly, and if I could learn one thing from him, and all of my stuff from my dad, and one thing from him, you know, I've got all of the knowledge sort of thing. But since joining Instagram and really opened up my eyes to everything, I've realised how they're just repainters. So the competition's not hard. The only time I ever get beat is on price.
Yeah.
Because they're so much lower than me. But this is, again, without trying to be arrogant to my client, I can go in there now and I'll say, look, Merca, you know, I'll put it into a pitch. But I'll be like, look, we've got dustless sanding systems. So my way of winning a pitch now is taking over the quote and saying, look, this is how I do it. This needs doing like most people will go in and quote and they're like, right, what do you want doing? Okay, it'll cost you this much. Whereas I'll go in and be like, right, really, that needs sanding down. You can't, that needs a primer.
Yep.
You know, but it's like little things like when I'm quoting fascias and soffits, I'll get up on a ladder, climb to the top of the ladder and have a look. Because every other one's sat at the bottom looking like that. And it's just little things that make the quote easier to win, because that client sat there thinking, oh, well, that other guy didn't go and look at it at that detail.
Oh, man. That'll be good for you. If you keep up that way and you just keep your standard like up here, people will start to realize, oh, okay, that's why it's like this. And then, right, like you said, then you have your Instagram to back it up. Then people can go like, oh, this guy's just talking shit. Well, oh, actually, damn, he's not. Like, oh, dang. So they'll consider it, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That's good.
Instagram's helped me massively. This is why I joined Instagram, mainly for a portfolio. It was a portfolio and another platform to possibly get clients. I mean, my missus, I always use Facebook. I remember chatting to you when I first ever joined Instagram. I was like, dang, how have you done it, man? You've got 10,000 followers. You had 10,000 at the time. And I was like, this is awesome. And you was like, well, what do you want out of Instagram? And I was like, right, well, I mean, I want to learn and I want to share my work. You know, I want to be, I didn't know there was this community at the time, but the way I explain it is my missus watches this Instagrammer called Mrs. Hinch. She's a cleaner.
You were telling me, yeah.
She's a cleaner, and I was like, she just put in videos of her doing her job, just cleaning, on Instagram. She's got millions of followers. She's got products named after her. She's sponsored.
Yep.
And most people look at a cleaner like, oh, they're just a cleaner. Well, she's the best motherfucking cleaner on the planet now. And it was really starting me. I was like, well, if she can do that, I love painting. Painting's really good to watch, so I'm going to do it with painting.
Yep.
And then it's really developed from there. I won't lie, at first, I was really like, oh, I'd love to have so many followers. And I'd love the product review side of things and all of that. And it was really started at first, but then quickly that changed when I learned of the family that we've got here. And it really took over my business. I didn't have time to be thinking about product reviews and whatnot, because I was thinking, I've got to buy this tool. I've got to go and buy Merc. I've got to save up and I have to buy a Titan.
Hell yeah. And then you won one.
Oh, God. That was the luckiest thing, bro. The luckiest thing in the world. I couldn't believe it. It was like, I just come off like a really big, probably a couple of years of bad luck. Like, literally could be anything. Every week, as soon as I get back on top, windscreen smashes. Or, you know, it just, every little thing just keep knocking me down. And when I was really battling against it and I was doing this Instagram thing, and I was like, my next thing I need is a sprayer. Like, I got my Ozito, but, and I was, you know, I was knocking out good woodwork, but, you know, it was better than anything I could achieve without a sprayer.
For sure.
But it wasn't what you can do. Still isn't what you can do. I'm not going to.
Well, hold on. You know what I was saying to Mick the other day was, I think a lot of guys can do that. I think, like I said, if you were to come and I were to show you the way I rocked it, you'd be like, oh, well, fuck, I can do that. And I'd be like, yeah, you can. Yeah, it's all just systems, man. It's just certain systems that we always follow. And I never let any of the guys go around that, you know, and they have a high standard too. So it just comes down to systems, man. And like I said, if you can lay down a good finish with whatever system you're doing, it's just a few adjustments, really. And then you're just like, oh, okay, you know, like spraying the lacquer primers that we have here. If you were to spray that, you'd be like, this is freaking easy, because it's drying like that. And it's like, holy crap. So I think you could, man. I think you really could. Honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, to be honest, one of the best jobs I ever did on the sills was with the Ozito. It was one of my first ones. But now I've got the Titan. I haven't got a pressure gauge. So I don't really know what PSI I'm shooting at. I sort of go up to full pressure and then down a couple of notches.
Just crank it, bro. I spray everything full pressure. Hey?
But this is how I, you know, like so say if I'm spraying mist coats or something, and I'll find my right pressure to get my sunlight.
Yeah.
I can't measure it from a certain PSI. I have to sort of go to full and then count how many notches down I go. Right. Next time.
Is that the black one?
I don't know.
Or is that Russell?
Give me a sec, bro.
All right. Russell?
Sorry, guys.
Oh, man. Nathan has the cutest little dog. His name's Russell. He's super cute. And and I wonder if that's him causing havoc.
Sorry, yeah.
Russell,
seriously, bro. Once one of them starts barking, that's it.
Oh, dude, I know, 100%.
Where were we anyway?
You were talking about the pressure gauge on your machine and how you're trying to measure it out.
So now that I've got the Titan, now see where I'm struggling. This is where I'm struggling. I not mark my own work too much, because what I've got to remember is that I still haven't got any Titan tips, nor have I got FFLP tips. I'm still working on that. My dad got us in some, don't even know if they are Wagner. He said they were Wagner, the yellow tips. I've got like 211. and stuff like that. I haven't got the right tips, quite simply.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working, like, I think I sprayed some doors once with a 217 or something.
Oh,
and I was
damn.
like really going fast with that thing.
Oh, man, damn. But you probably
like,
don't have a lot of access to that stuff, do you?
This is the thing. I've got a few people that are sending me some. But obviously with COVID and whatnot, things are taking months and months to get over. It is tough. It's tough to get hold of any. But yeah, I'm pretty confident once I get either the radiates guard and go into FFLP, or if I get some Titan proper fine finish tips, I think that'll finish my game off. But at the minute, I'm changing tips often.
Yeah.
So I get used to one and then I'm changing to another because that one's blown out, or
Yeah.
Well, I think that's my next thing.
Because what are you guys using a lot for top coats? Is it still a lot of oils where you are, or is it more like acrylics, enamels? Like, what are you guys using?
I'm pushing water based now. Yeah. I'm pushing because I don't want to put oil through my Titan, bro.
Hell no. I mean, I have certain machines for certain things, but we have this product here from Cloverdale 05910, and it's like they call it quick dry primer, and it's like really thick, and like you got to thin it down. But if it starts to dry out a bit, your machine would be like fucked, right? So you always have to like make sure. So I feel you, man. Like, I don't use a lot of oil anything here. It's mostly like lacquers or the Alkyd, like some stuff like that, right? At least for spraying. So you're keeping it all water in there, right?
Yeah. See, if you see that dressing table that I started, I nearly got it finished. It was just ready for corking a bit round, a few bits of prep I've missed. It's only for my missus, really just practicing. And I got these top coats with one of my top coats, but needed another. I got it really, really nice, but I put oil through my Ozito.
Okay.
Because I was like, I only used products that I had in my trailer. I've got so much in there. Just random bits, but it's mostly oil, which I'm never going to use anymore. Plus, it's a dressing table, so I thought, the durability's there.
100%, for sure.
But there's no way I was putting that through my Titan. So
I wouldn't.
I've got the Ozito for that, but then the Ozito's not quite as good for fine finishing. So I am actually looking for a better product to put through that has a durability, that's water-based. I know a lot of people use that Ticarilla stuff through the sprayers.
Yep.
At the minute, I'm on Johnston's Aqua, which is it's good stuff. It's good quality stuff. But it's like the gloss isn't as high gloss as what my clients are used to.
And is that what's kind of being called for, at least on all trim? You're glossing all the top coats, like in a gloss, not a semi-gloss, like a gloss, hey?
See, we're going towards sort of satin, eggshell, sort of, because people always ask me now, and I'll be like, glossy's a bit dated now. But then when I've offered people this glass finish, and they've seen them sills that I've done, they're like, I want that. So they end up going with the gloss. Right. So, but in honesty, it was always oil-based gloss up until a couple of years ago, because the water-based hybrids just couldn't keep up at the time. Right. They just couldn't keep up with durability. The only differences we offered was, well, water-based stays white. It doesn't require UV to stay light, but oil-based is durable. Which do you want? But now I'm sort of saying, well, the water-based are pretty much near enough just as durable as the oil-based. So I'm just completely getting rid of solvents as much as I can now. Yeah. I think the whole world's sort of going that way. I'm sure eventually it'll do the same thing here, man. Because that there's not a lot of cities in Canada anymore that let you spray solvent stuff. They've got rid of almost all oils. And I'm sure it's coming at some point, but yeah, it's just better for us all, Yeah. So, yeah, of course. But yeah, it is. I won't lie. When I do get a brush back out and I start using oil based again, because I grew up on the stuff, I do enjoy it. I enjoy getting my brush out and really working on the finish without just having to go, like, you have to put a bit of gentle time into it. You know, you have to watch every sort of stroke and lay it all off, and I enjoy it because it's like I can sit in the back of my head and just do what I used to do. Yeah, I do like oil, but it's the whole going yellow thing behind couches and and how it smells for clients when you go, because it is potent.
It is, eh?
Yes, but it's just one of them. Water-based all the way for me now.
Right. Yeah. It's becoming this water-based revolution is what you're seeing on Instagram a lot too, right? And at the beginning, man, I was getting so much flack, and nothing rude or harsh, but just a lot of questions of why are you still doing it that way? And I'm like, that's what I know, and that's what we're doing, and it's just the systems here, right? Like, especially with the size of the houses. But some guys are telling me now that you'd be surprised what these water-based products would do. So when I started dipping into the furniture here, I started, picking some brains, because there's one guy at the just to answer one question here to Alpha Painting. I'm not sure if we have that Southwest Builder Spash Dry in Calgary. In Canada, possibly, but I'm not 100% sure. But I'll check for sure.
I can't see any comments.
Hey?
I didn't even know people were commenting. I can't see any of it.
Really? You can't see it all?
No. I see people joining.
Oh, okay.
That's probably good. It keeps my eye off the comments.
Yeah. I feel you, man, because I have to try really hard to and then just forget what they said. And no offense to anybody there, but then if I start thinking about the comment, then it's like I'm not really listening. And I want to give you my full attention, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's I think that's the way the world's going. Everybody wants to go water-based. They want to go green. And the only thing I'm struggling with that is the clear coats. Because I've seen some guys using the water-based clear coats online, but when they spray it on, it's kind of got that milkiness to it. It honestly looks like kids glue, right? It goes on like milky and then it dries clear. So that, I don't know. Some of the stuff that we do there's a lot of it. So that's the only problem with it. If we do like floor to ceiling stained like office, and then, it's like you try and put the water base on. I don't know, man. I don't know. They're expensive trim packages in some of these homes. Like some people are dropping $200,000 to $300,000 just for the trim package. So I don't know. It's scary sometimes to try new shit on that. So I've been trying a little bit to get that way on the furniture. Because I was saying, there's a guy here. He's like a chemical chemist that studied in Switzerland and then painted at Mercedes in Germany. He was painting cars, and now he's here in Calgary. He's got like a thick German accent. Really nice guy. But I started picking his brain. I was like, dude, you've been here this whole time and I didn't even know. And now I'm like, oh man, you got to start hitting me up with all this stuff. So I have a 1-part polyurethane right now. That's a 90 degree that he gave to me for free, Sayer Lack. He's like, try this, man. You want to see gloss that you can polish that's a water base? Try this coconut oil or coconut resin or whatever the base is. And I was like, really, hey? Because everyone's on this gloss tip right now. Well, that's what it feels like on Instagram, right? That it's like, the FPE and everything. And I tried it and it was really cool product, but not really practical. So I was like, hey man, like maybe you can find me something that'll be able to polish that'll get this high. And he's like, this stuff, man. So the water bases are, it's a revolution, I guess.
Coming, aren't they?
They are.
They are coming. But the thing is, bro, England is so far behind on everything. Like Canada, you're probably like at least between 5 and 10 years ahead of us. If it wasn't for Instagram, God, we wouldn't even have merkers in this country.
No doubt.
It's like saying I can't get tips to Titan anywhere. Even if we go on the Titan website, there's nowhere that will even just. I just can't purchase them anywhere.
I don't want to be this guy, but I also don't want to be that guy. So it's like if you wanted them, you could probably get them off Idaho Painter's website. Because he's in whatever the state or town that Titan's headquarters is at.
Yeah.
So his page, his store has a lot of stuff like that on there. You can buy machines, you can buy tips, you can buy.
They'll just send them over.
I think so. I can't say for sure. Like I said, I mean, I don't gotta hate on for the guy, but sometimes I'm just like, dude, like, all right, but he's got it all on his shop.
I'll hit him up on his.
You should, man, because just go and buy, like, whatever. Support each other for sure, but you need it, and he's got it, so fucking go and get them. Because, like, what are you running right now for tips? Like, what sizes?
Literally, like I said, I think the best tip I've got at the minute is 211. I've not got any 08.
Really? Eh?
Yeah. Seriously, it's like I can get all the tips, but they're really like they're like knockoff Wagner tips. There's like nothing.
Really?
There's nothing compared to like the Tricat and the grey coat.
Yeah.
I can get hold. I'm sure down south I can get hold of if I can get hold of the Rack X guard, I can get into the FFLP tip.
Right.
But I really love Titan. I really wanted to try the Titan fine finish tip.
Idaho Painter's got it on his shop.
I'm pretty like I sowed my seed with Titan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, everyone. Well, I get that question too. What's better, Titan, Graco? And I'm like, man, I don't know. They'll all get you there if you know how to work it. So they're great machines, man. I've used Graco a few times in the past for the guys I work for. I really like their contractor guns. Super comfortable. But yeah,
I'm after one of them.
Yeah, man. And not even the new one, the old contractor gun. It was such a comfortable gun. And I got that little Lemmer L60 2-finger trigger. It's like this big, right?
Yeah, see, that's what I'm after. It's the 4-finger that I have to hold my gun a little bit higher so I can use 2 fingers.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Which is all right, but if I'm on, like, I want to get into cabinet refurb, I need a bit more movement in my wrist.
100%.
Than what I've got there.
Yeah, for sure. Man, if I could ever get my ass to mail shit, I would send, and I don't even want to show you this stuff because you're probably like, dude, like, what the fuck, man? Send me some of that shit. But I got like a whole bag of tips here. So, like, man, I should just get my ass in gear and send them out to you.
No, don't worry about that, bro.
Danny, if you say his name, John from Patesville saying about the Idaho Painter, if you say his name 3 times, he'll appear. Be careful.
Why can't I see these comments? I feel like I'm missing out.
I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. Like I said, the first live I did, a few days ago, and I was just like, oh, shit, it's been a while. I jumped on, and now there's, like, all these new settings, and I'm like, I honestly...
Yeah, it might be a privacy setting or something.
I don't even know, but it's like a lot of people...
In fact, I think mine's crashed because it's not changed for ages now. Like the comment section.
Right.
It's not changed for a while. Oh, wait. No, it's not changed for ages.
No. Well, we still got it going, and I got it recorded. So hey, man.
Still here, man.
Yeah, for sure. And people will be able to listen to this later.
I hope that everyone's talking nicely about us.
They are. There was a couple guys in here that were throwing up cowboys and crossed eyes with eggplants like Dick Sucker. You know these guys or what? Like K Watts, Decor. Who are these guys?
Oh yeah, we know them.
You know that? Okay, because I was about to be like, yo, what the? Yo, what are you doing right now?
Yeah, they just. Do you know what that is, bro? I won a giveaway. Yeah, I won a repair care giveaway, and they wanted it. It got salty as hell because I've got nearly 10,000 followers. They think that's why I won. So,
oh God! Do you want me to explain it to them right now? How it all fucking works? Because if you don't understand how Instagram works and you don't understand how social media works, maybe you should just shut the fuck up for a minute. Because there's certain things to it, man. Just having the followers doesn't mean you just won the fucking giveaway. The guy has to choose.
Well, this is the thing. They use random name generators, but I'm not being funny. It's not like I've got 100,000 followers. Like, if I reshare someone, it's not going to get them 20,000 followers.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
And it's not going to get you up to the top of their random generator. Exactly,
yeah. They're like, oh shit, he's got 9,340 odd followers. We'll pick him.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Just one second. Baby, will you just bring us a fax, please? Sorry, bro. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, all good. I was just going to say, like, right now, for the 9 people that are in here or anyone that's going to listen to this podcast, if you want 100,000 followers tomorrow, you can have them. You could have them. I could have them. Anyone can have this. That's what people don't understand. That's why it's better to work toward getting it with your content than to just go and pay for it. And literally not even buying followers nowadays. There's companies that will pump your... And do you know who Exotic Wall Finishes is? He does all that Venetian plaster in Miami.
I think so, yeah. I think so.
So he does amazing work. And he said in Mickey's Live one night that's what he does. He's got a company that helps him engage, that does all that while he's working. And he's got like over 200,000 plus followers. But here's the thing about his page. If he's going to sell a product, then that's what you want. If he's going to sell Marmarino tools, that's what you want. You want that huge following. You know, if you go through it, you can see like not a lot of people are other plasters or Venetian plasters or whatever, but that doesn't matter for him because he's creating awareness. So it's like, if I just didn't want to do it that way, right? I didn't really want to have like 100,000 followers of, 1% of them are actually painters. Like, I don't know. I didn't want to go that route, but
yeah, you only have,
so people need
It's
to
like
not
you
be
say,
salty,
You
man.
could just go out and buy. I think you were chatting about it the other day. You could go out and buy 70,000 followers, but there's no worth in that. It's all about your activity.
Yeah.
So it's like if even if people are in it for the product or they're in it for the sponsor, they're in it for whatever, having 100,000 followers isn't going to do that. You could have 100,000 followers and get 10 comments. People are going to be like, but some people who've got only 1,000 followers but have 50% activity rate, they're more valuable.
Yeah. Well, they're more valuable to their followers, right? Because that's what it's about. It's like they're more valuable to their followers. So it's like, okay, cool. Like, you're doing what you want to do. Because, like I said, if I was selling, like, I think I used the example the other day of like say I was selling sunglasses and I didn't need to have an engagement with anybody on my page. I just needed to have a following that I could pump the advertisements to. That's what you want. If like a fraction of them see your link and they go and buy your sunglasses, you're making bank. But with what we're doing, it's more interactive. People want to chat with you. Sometimes you're teaching a little bit or you're sharing ideas, and that only works with genuine followers, like people who are actually there.
I think you get more I think what the most I get from this platform, and I think the whole benefit of the Paint family is it's like, as a collective, we're raising the standards of the trade.
Yep.
We're all helping each other. Like, even someone who doesn't know half the stuff that you know, you can pick a tip up off them, like how to keep dust down or how to keep clean up better. It's everyone as a cognitive group. We're all learning from each other and growing. I think that's the most valuable part.
So how do you feel about this? Because I agree with you, but sometimes I disagree with what I see online, and it's not to say like I'm the sheriff or anyone with a majority of followers should be like the sheriff, but at the same time, it's like everybody's doing it now. So I'm worried that now it's just going to be this spread of information that might not always be the right information. And it's like, guys like, well, I'm learning and I want to teach people while I learn. It's like, okay, cool. Well, you got to be careful though, how you go about that, because if you come out and go ahead,
I think you got to have a certain level of like sift through the shit sort of thing.
Yeah, sort of. It's just more like, I see a ton of shit online that I'm just like, what the fuck? But I never comment because I know people are learning at the same time. But if they're coming off and pitching themselves as like, watch me, follow me, take it from me, don't take it from that guy, then it's like, yo, man, like that's where it gets sticky for me, because I also think that it's ruining our trade too a little bit. You know what? I'm going to say this right now for the record. If anyone's going to listen to this later, you know what really drives me nuts right now is all the carpenters. The guys on Instagram that are carpenters, that are spraying, that just have renovation companies. And sometimes I'm like, hey man, like try it like this. They don't even, and I'm like, dude, you're taking someone else's trade and now you're teaching it. And then the guys that are actually doing it say something to you and you get tiffed. So I'm
I know.
So it's like, I built my railing in my house, but I didn't film it and be like, hey, check me out, I'm a carpenter.
Yeah, it's the disrespect of the trade. A bit like
well, it's more just like, hey man, say it as it is. Hey, I'm just trying this. I've been spraying for a couple of years, but now you got 80 to 100,000 follower pages that are solely based on carpentry, but now they're putting videos out of painting. Like I seen one guy the other day, he's like, hey, check this frog tape video out. I don't know how it works, but I'm going to show you how we use it. And I'm like, what? Like, okay, man. Like, all right, fine. Go ahead. But
to be honest, like when I sit there at night, I think if someone's coming on and saying, right, here's a how-to video, this is how you do this, learn from me, I think you've got to be bang on with what you're saying.
Thank you,
do you know
man.
What I mean?
I agree, because I told that to my wife all the time, where she's like, whatever, just do it like this or do it like that. I'm like, no, man. I don't want to leave any room for someone to be like, yo, what the hell? Or, hey, what you doing that? It's more just like, even if I write it in my comment or in my caption, it's like, here's how I do it. This is how I like to do it. I'm not saying this is the way to do it, because you're right, man. Sometimes it's like, if you're not careful, yikes, man.
Oh, yeah, you can get eaten alive.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think there's only a small part of Instagram that's out there just just to try and give people jip or bring people down. Like, you find a lot of people that are commenting on people. Like, if I see someone doing something wrong, I'd never comment on their post and say, yo, bro, that's shit, you're doing it wrong. I'd send them a message and say, hey, man, have you ever thought about doing it this way?
100%.
You know what I mean?
It's constructive criticism, right? I'm okay with constructive criticism. People can message me all they want and say, even if they said, hey, you're doing it wrong just because I've done it like this, that's even better than, hey, man, you're doing that wrong. Right? Because it's just like, okay, are you trying to nurture the overall goal, or are you just trying to swing your dick at me? Because it's like, dude, like, I don't really need that because I'm still making money. So that's why I can't hate on anyone that sells anything or makes money off some of these videos, because I'm like, hey, man, we're all here to make money. So just be careful how you do it, right? It's ethics, it's principles, right? So
when I scroll my feed at night, I think there's a lot of things you can learn, like even just the tiniest things. But like, I'll sit there for a couple of hours at night. Obviously, like most of us that put a lot of content out there, you get home from work and I'll spend a couple of hours editing a video and then putting it out there and then talking to people, responding to messages. But then for the hour that I get to spend looking through my stuff, you know, you probably skip a few and then you'll see one thing and you'll be like, that's quite cool. I might try incorporating that into my business.
100%.
Just the little things that speed up your job by 5 seconds. Like if you can run gun a little bit quicker.
Mm-hmm. So
any little thing.
Have you found that all that editing and content and posting, is that eating up a lot of your time? Because it eats up a shitload of my time.
To be honest, I've got quick at it. I've got quicker.
Yeah, me too. But still, man, it's like you said, it's like you come home, you eat, you chill. Then it's like, okay, now I got to like edit, post, you know, engage. So sometimes it's a ton of fucking work, man.
It's like when I tried to put, like we were saying yesterday, I tried to put 1 or 2 posts on a day. But I've narrowed it down to my day-to-day stuff goes on my story. And my thing is I vlog my day-to-day life on the brushes. I'm not trying to teach. I'm here to learn, but I'm going to show people how I'm doing things. This is my journey.
100.
And if people pick things up from it, great. If you don't, then whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But when I get home, like I'll be doing something at work and I'll be like, this would look really good. This would look really good in a reel. This would look really good on TV. So then I'll go and get my phone, and I'm painting through my phone for like a couple of hours of my day. So then I'm there for a couple of hours longer. And then when I get home, I sit down, and first thing I do, I'll sit down and I'll have something to eat, and I'll be on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
You mean my missus have had a few arguments about it. She's like, you're always on Instagram. And I'm like, yeah, but look how much it's helping my business. Like, look how much most I've got from Instagram isn't from followers. It isn't from things I've been sent. It's things I've learned.
Yeah. 100%.
Things I've been out and incorporated into my business.
Yeah. That's a tough one for me too, man, because I got the kids and stuff, and sometimes it's like I can't tell my growing up to almost teenage old kids now that, hey, man, like, don't waste all your time on the screens, but yet they see me on it a lot. But it's a thin line because I'm like, listen, even though you might not think so, this is me working on my business, and it's a new day and age, right? It's new day, it's new marketing, it's new things. So it's like, it's a tough line, right? It's hard.
Gray area.
It's a gray area a little bit because I mean, I want to do it, and believe me, I want them to do it. And it's crazy because people spend a lot of time telling their kids to stay off the screens, but sometimes I want them to be on the screens because I want them to learn all these things that are going to be our future. You know what I mean? Like coding and like graphic design.
Well, look how much you've done for us.
Oh, thank you, man. Fuck, thanks. I appreciate that, dude. So, no, I hear you, but we'll see. Well, I mean, Instagram, social media, it can help you if you use it right. Right? Sometimes it can be a disaster.
Yeah.
It can be a disaster. And I don't want my kids to see that end. Like my kids don't have any of that. They have phones and they YouTube and they whatever, but I was on TikTok, got right off of that right away. As soon as I kind of dove into it, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, no, got off of that.
Yeah, I just probably this last week just started. I know the organic reach is really good on TikTok. Yeah. I never watch it. I can't, like I'll go on the home and I'm like, it's just women twerking and men doing dances next to the car.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one because like, how are you going to capitalize on that engagement, or even like I see some guys that have like millions of followers, hundreds of thousands of views. I just didn't see how that would help me as a painter, and maybe I don't know the platform enough. But when I started looking through all the people that followed me, I was like, it was like maybe 3 painters.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's Instagram is where it's at for it.
Yeah,
I think it's a really slow build up. Like I get shit from my following because I've got 9,000 followers. I've been doing it for nearly 2 years. It's like, and I've got 9,000. It's like I'm not.
You got shit on for that?
Deal?
Who are these people, man? Like, what year are you living in? Come on.
It's just a lot of it's just salt in it. It's like,
oh, you salty. You so salty.
I do things like I do techniques to try and get my videos out there more. Like we was talking, comment on people's stuff, make relationships with people. Obviously there's that, but I don't see any point in this whole buying followers.
Well, like I said, because I know people who have literally been like, no, man, I have a product I want to sell and I needed to get over 10,000 followers. So Instagram would open up the options for me to like have a shop and this and that. Because when you get to certain numbers, the options start to change for you. Like even when I went over 15,000, now it's like, it'll let me put the little dots and stuff. Maybe it would let me do it before, but it never gave me the option. But now it's like you can do the dots, you can have the shop, you can do so many different things, right? So it depends. Like I said, if for people like us and what we're doing in our niche, it's good for the portfolio, growing the number. Some people don't understand. Like there's a ton of guys that are just like, I think the number's pointless. Well, it is, and it isn't, right? Because it's like if you're not getting work from it, then what's the point of having all those followers? And for me, mine snowballed because, well, for one, thank you, Idaho Painter, for never answering back any of your people because they all started messaging me. And then I was like, how do I say no? Even though I'm super busy, like, how can I wish I had this when I was learning, you know? And so it's like, people just need to study it, understand it, and then they'll be like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? It's like, they don't have to be salty. Go and get it if you want it. If you don't see a point to it, then just have a portfolio, man. It's all good.
Yeah. See, it's a lot of people say you don't get work from Instagram. I get a lot of work from Instagram.
You do, hey?
A lot, yeah. It's sort of like my first 6 months. I went out of the country and I was meeting people like you, Chris, Mickey the Painter. I was going around Australia and Canada. It's come full circle. Now I've got people following me that are like, someone will see me in my shop and they're like, oh, but you're Nice Decor. And I'm like, yeah.
Isn't that really wicked?
Cool, man. It's gone full circle because, I mean, there must be some part of the algorithm where it'll come up locally.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Sure.
Man.
So,
100%.
But I get a lot of work from Instagram. It helps because people see my work, and especially when they see so many people be like, "Whoa, nice work."
Yep.
They want it straight away.
For sure. So this is what I always say to people when they're always like, "Oh man, like it's like this or like it's like that," and it's like, okay, well, if you think you got it and you're hating on the next guy, then post it and let's see it. And then you can back up because there's always guys like, I could fucking do that. I'm better than him. I was like, okay, cool. Well, let's see it. Not for me, but like, hey, show your clients then. But like you say, I think some guys are still a little old school. If you're still walking around with a binder full of Polaroids showing your work, like, come on. You know what I mean?
100%, yeah. To be honest, mate, it took me, because I learned everything from my dad, I used to go around with a notepad and I used to do written invoices.
Yeah.
And I had everything in my folders. But now it's like, it's just a whole technology thing altogether, like just having an invoice app.
Yeah.
God, how much that helps when you're doing your books at the end of the year or something. Because it's got everything there added up and ready for you.
I'm still old school, man. I send my pricing and my invoices through like an Excel spreadsheet. But I still write everything down by hand. And even when I'm doing my estimates and quotes, I'm like writing in and like, I don't do a ton because we work for a lot of new home builders. So it's like, if we get one job, that'll last a bit. And then maybe I quote another job. So I'm not doing a ton of quoting. So I like to sit down with pen and paper and like hash it out because sometimes I found that there's room not to give deals, but you'll start to notice this now that once you get that spray system going, now it's not that you're undercutting. It's like sometimes you can almost charge less because you're getting the job done faster, which means you can still make the same or more money. But a lot of guys are like, oh, you're fucking undercutting me and this and that. It's like, well, no, it's just I got my system dialed in so I can give them a little bit more of a deal because I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I found that through writing out my my quotes all the time and be like, oh. But sending it through the PDF like on Excel. It's like when it does all the numbers and you just do the formula, it's like brrr, does all the math. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. See, I'm sort of 50-50 converted. When I sit down and I do a quote, I'll always scribble it first.
Yep.
I'll always write it down because I can work it out in how many hours this job takes, how many hours this is going to take, and work it out, you know.
Yep.
But then I'll make it neat by putting that into my phone and sending it over, just for the aspect of it looks professional.
Yeah, I've been getting that a lot more with some of the new builders I've been coming up with, because a lot of the old builders that I knew before, it's literally just like an email. Here's the price. They trust it. When you invoice to get paid, then you put it in something. But now some builders are like, oh, I need the estimate with like a letterhead and all this and that. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, and then if they're like, oh, sorry, we're going with somebody else, it's like, oh, okay, that was a ton of time. All right, see you later. But what? It's like, fuck, man. But what do you do, right? You got to kind of like you got to please them a little bit, right? So
yeah,
but
yeah, try your best, don't you?
Try your best, man. Yeah, for sure. What
Can't
time?
Please everybody.
You can't please everybody, man. And that's one thing my wife's starting to tell me more and more is like, hey, man, like, you're not going to be able to please them all. You know?
I lost you a bit then.
Oh, my wife is the one who's always telling me that. You're not going to be able to please them all. But I try. Sometimes I try.
You got to try. It's for your own self.
Yeah, it's pride, but at the same time, it's like...
Yeah, self-pride, yeah.
I get not shit on, but sometimes I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have done that. Because I'm basing a lot of stuff off... That's my biggest struggle right now, is that thin line between business and friendship. Because it's all friend when it's like, yeah, can you help me out? Can you do this or that? But when it comes down to either schedules, timelines, or getting paid, it's like that line starts to disappear. And you're like, yo, man, you got me in on this job based on like, hey, buddy. And now you're going to fucking throw the book at me, you know? Yeah. So you get that a lot, or?
The only thing I find over here, client-wise, is everyone's your best friend. You know, like when you're quoting a job. This is a thing with people around here. Quoting a job, and I'll have clients speaking to me. We're booked in 3 months in advance. They're speaking to me now about wallpaper choices and paint colours and whatnot. And I always say, look, here's a few colour charts. Here's a paper book. Have a look through that. Keep it. And I'll say, look, I'll ring you up a week before the job to finalise everything. But the thing is, for that 3 months, they're on the phone 24/7 like your best mate. But then when you finish the job, and it's when they say to you, oh, we'll pay you transfer. We'll pay you as soon as you walk out the door. And as soon as you walk out the door, like, you don't get paid for like a week, 2 weeks or something. And I'm like, yeah, well, if they don't respond to a message or something, and you don't try and be professional, and you're like, hey, have you managed to have a look through everything, get it sorted?
Yep.
And there's no response. But yet, when they're wanting the work done, within 5 seconds, they're responding to every single message.
For sure. I started this thing, I call it the 30-30-30-10. 30-30-30-10, right? So it's like I tell them, I want 30% up front. When I'm done this first piece, not really to the builders, more to like the private clients, because it's like you say, well, here's the thing. I hear people saying like, I don't like to work for builders because it's iffy for getting paid. And I feel where they're coming from, but I feel the same way a little bit about the private clients, because Joe Schmo from down the block, like I could knock on his door over and over and over again, and he doesn't have to answer the door. He doesn't have to answer my phone call. He has no reputation that precedes him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I started this 30-30-30-10 thing. I'm like, I want 30% before I start. I want 30% in the middle. I want 30% before I clean up and walk out the door. That 10% you can hold until you think it's all good. Right? Because it's like you're saying, that's what was happening to me. It's like, boom, boom, boom. They want you there. They want you there. And it's like, okay, can you bring a check? We're cleaning up today. And it's like, oh, well, I'm going to be home late. Or, oh, it's this or that. And it's like, yo, come on,
but they come into the house when you're working at 3 o'clock every day to make sure you're still there. Until the last day.
Until the last day.
You're not nowhere to be seen.
So I just started throwing it back on them. I was like, hey, can you bring a check today? Because if not, then we'll come back tomorrow and finish up when you have the check. So I'll leave my drop sheets. This is mostly for repaints. Like, I'll leave my drop sheets. I'll leave everything there and put them in the position where it's like, well, do you want to clean up? If you don't want to pay me, like, do you want to clean up all my drop sheets? Do you want to pull the tape off? So sometimes I get them like that, but you lose a lot of jobs like that too. Who the fuck wants to pay 30% up front?
I mean, for you it'll be different because you're in jobs that are lasting you months and months. Us, most of our jobs are week in, week out, 2 to 3 weeks at the most. So with us, especially with the way my dad was, we'll buy all the materials up front as a sort of guarantee on our work that, you know, we're confident you're after the work. So we'll buy the materials. And we never really ask for any labour until the job's done. That's our guarantee. Pay us when you're happy. Which is, so on the last day, we'll say, come and meet us on the last day. We'll walk through the tape, anything, a few bits, and we'll go through it together and sign it off together. But from that then, we expect to be paid on that day. Because if you go into a shop, you know, you pay for your goods. You take the goods, you pay for it. So if you offer your service up front in faith, good faith, and it may be the old-fashioned way, but if I had someone around to my house to do work, then when the job's done, there you go.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's the same with people trying to back your prices down. It's like you don't go into a supermarket and take this bottle of shampoo to the counter and go, can I have tenner off?
Yeah. Can you drop this a bit?
No, price is price.
Yeah. Well, that's a hard one though, right? Because this is what I tell people when they ask me about that. I said, well, how bad do you want the job? What kind of situation are you in your life or your finances? Like, because some guys, I think, are a little bit desperate sometimes. And I always tell them, yo, man, sometimes you got to say no. Because if you don't and you start doing the numbers and every time you do a job, you're coming into the red, you might as well have went and worked at like Walmart.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. It's like when people, and I got bit with this a few times when I was in my early years, people will say, how can you do it a bit cheaper? Because I've got more work for you.
Oh, like, the classic.
And I'd be like, and at first, my dad would always be like, well, work's better than no work. So we'd be like, yeah, we do. But that's a very old-fashioned thing. Whereas now I sort of think, why do I want more work that's cheaper than my going rate?
Yeah.
Now I'm filling my diary up, like you say, I won't be going in the red, but I'm filling my diary up working for fuck all, basically. You know,
that's a tough one, man. Take it from me, because for the longest time I thought it was always good to have multiple jobs on the go, and sometimes like not back to back. I just like if someone had a job and they accepted my price, and it's just like we can start right away. So then I started multi-managing guys and stuff like that. But then, like you say, you start to look at it and you're like, man, like, did I really make any more money just to get this job, even if it was a small deal? Because, like you say, work is better than no work. But man, it's like, what do you value now, right? And I just started valuing different things. And I'm like, man, I had a lady the other day email me. She was referred from my buddy. I've never met this lady before. So she sends me some pictures, says, can you give me an estimate on these cabinets for a kitchen respray? I say, okay, send some pictures. I'll try and give you the best that I had, right? Or the best price, like from just seeing it online or whatever. So then usually when I do it like that, right away I overprice it. Not extreme, but enough to be like, man, I have no idea what I'm walking in here. I'm giving you an estimate.
Backing yourself.
Yeah, I'm backing myself up. So then she writes me back, can you do any better on that price? Do we get a friends and family discount? And I was like, yeah, I gave a friends and family discount to Mike, my friend, who referred me to you. And then I wrote back, I was like, so what time's dinner, you know? Like, okay, like, what the fuck? Like, we're not even, what, lady? We're not even friends or family, and you want me to drop my price?
I'm a friend of a friend of a friend
a friend of a friend of a friend. And she literally was like, hey, can you work on that number? Like, friends and family? And I was like, the nerve. I didn't even email her back. I swear to God. I was just like.
I've actually got to the point now where, again, not trying to be arrogant, but I'll just be like, look, go and hire DIY, man.
Yeah.
You'll be ringing me again. You'll be ringing me up in 6 months. And there have been a lot of people who, like, I had a client who wouldn't wait 2 weeks. She says, can you jump? I've got another decorator that said he can do it next week. And I went, if he can jump on it, I always say to people, if I tell you I can start tomorrow, what does that say about my work? Like, you surely expect to be waiting at least a few months for a quality tradesman.
So, someone had a question here. This is a good one because I want to ask you this too. Do you give discounts when people pay in cash?
Currently, yes. Currently, through COVID, because I'm not working.
Ha 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 ha. Yes.
Yeah, so it does keep it off my books.
Right.
If it keeps it off my books, then I make it back at the end of the year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it really depends. A lot of the time, depending on if they're a cheeky fucker, I'll say, yeah, well, that's 10%.
Yeah.
That is your cash price.
Yeah.
But they're not. They're gonna. A lot of times the contractors say that to me, like, do I get a discount for cash? And I'm like, motherfucker, you're going to be making 20% on top of that, plus another 10%.
Yeah, I know. So here we have GST. I don't know what you guys have for taxes. That's like a good sales tax, right? So either way, so when they say, do I get a cash discount? I say, yeah, you don't have to pay the GST. That's the point of doing it in cash. So
that's all VAT registered, isn't it?
Hey?
That's like us being VAT registered.
No, it's actually it's like a provincial tax that's on everything. You pay GST on everything. So if it's if it's 99 cents in a store, it's going to be $1.05 or whatever the fuck it is after GST, right? So you add that on to your invoices every time. And which is shicey with some guys, because some guys, they like, okay, yeah, do it for 20. But then when you do the math backwards, you're like, dude, I have to pay GST and taxes. Like, I'm not doing it for 20. Right. So then I'll be like, well, if you want to pay 20 in cash type deal. Right. And then it's like, well, do I get a deal if I pay cash? It's like, yeah, you don't have to pay the GST, man. You're not getting it. Like, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, so to Durate, I mean, it depends. Like cash, another guy put cash is king. But let me tell you this, for anyone out there that gets paid in large sums of cash, I don't know where you are, if you have some way of washing it. But I did a job one time. Buddy paid me 45 grand in cash. Very rich man. And that's what made me realize it, because he was like, oh yeah, sure. I don't have to pay the GST. Neither do you. I'm like, yeah, okay, sweet. So he pays me. And we became friends after a while. Like it was a large job. We became friends. I was painting his exterior. So then I got this safe in my house and he got all this cash in it. So I say to this guy who's like a big time businessman, I'm like, yo, like, what am I supposed to do with it now? And he was like, and he just laughed and tapped me on the shoulder. He was like, that's your problem now, man. And I was like, oh my God.
See, I hate getting paid in cash. If it's over, I'd say if it's over 5 grand, especially.
Yeah.
And it's coming in £50 notes. I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, cash, that'll do. That would sound. But then it comes in £50 notes and I'm like, I can't spend this. What the hell am I going to do with this?
Yeah. And I struggled with that too, because then I had to start talking to all these professionals, like accountants and like investor guys. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? And they were all like, not really anything. Like pay for your groceries, pay for like your clothes if you want to go for dinner, and pay all that shit in cash. But it's like, you can't go to the bank, at least here in Canada, and be like, here's 40 grand cash. I want to put a down payment down on a house. They're going to be like, where the fuck did you get this?
Yeah, they'll be looking into it.
Oh, they will, yeah. So.
But we can't, our £50 notes, I can't go and spend them in a shop. They don't even take them anymore. Because there's so many fakes being made.
I see.
No one will take them. We have to take, even a lot of post offices won't take them.
Really?
So if I get, like, there's the odd bargain booze that I can, go and buy a bit of beer, and he'll take it on corner shop. But if I've got 5 grand worth, I'm just like, at least it's savings.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could sort of, like, do you guys have like the tax-free savings account type deal, like where you guys are? So here in Canada, the government okay, it's a little bit of a shiesty thing, sort of, because what they said is that you're eligible. I think it's like 5 grand a year now that you can put into this savings account through the government, a tax-free savings account, and you won't pay tax on that money. So every year you're exempt 5 grand from paying tax. But if you haven't done it since the program started, you get 5 grand every year. So some guys have the eligibility to save $45,000 tax-free, right? Yeah. So that's what they were saying. Well, that's what the one guy was saying to me. He's like, just slowly start putting like 2-3 grand into your tax-free savings account. Because then the government sees like, oh, okay, well, you're exempt from tax. But if I were to just drop like 45K in there and go over, then they're going to be like, oh, hey, man, you owe tax on like, So all my investing account goes through the tax-free savings. So if you make any money, then it's like, it's like this whole thing. But they wanted to do that so people would put more money back into the system, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. So, but that was the only way to, or my other buddy was like, dude, go to the casino, cash in 5-6 grand in chips, play for an hour, and cash out. That's and of course he was an Asian guy.
Got a few whiskeys, and you're just like,
dude, he's just like, go sit there and play poker or blackjack for like 2 hours, and then just cash out and take your chips. And I'm like, No, fuck that.
Yeah. I get too excited, mate. I've been walking out with nothing.
Yeah, that's the danger of it, right? So, but
yeah, I'm not a gambler myself, man. I don't trust my luck enough to be putting my money down on a possibility of getting it back.
I love Texas Hold'em, like poker. I like that.
I like playing poker.
Yeah, because it's you're playing against other people. So it feels like you have a chance to win. You're not just playing against the house all the time.
Yeah, like roulette's a bit different, especially these electronic roulettes. And I'm just like, you're watching a fake electronic table going around, and I'm like, there's an algorithm here. There's an algorithm.
Oh man, the casinos. You know what casinos remind me of? IKEA. One way in, one way out. You got to pass all the slot machines on your way. You know what I mean? I was in IKEA the other day with my wife, and I was just like, this is fuckery. I can't believe this. I'm like, how do we get out of here? She's like, oh, you got to go all the way through. I'm like,
yeah. You have to see everything.
You have to see everything to get through it, right? And I'm like, that's why people leave with a ton of shit they don't need.
Yeah. It's sales tactics, though, bro. They know what they're doing. Because I fall for that all the time. I see these fancy little things, and I'm like, stick it in, and they all add up by the end of your shopping trip.
Oh, it's just pure psychology marketing. Like I keep saying to people, read or listen to that book, Influence by Robert Cialdini. He talks about it. It's really good for sales and marketing and just learning how like the human psychology works. Listen to it, man, because you're going to be like, people like we get fucked over as a race or a human race all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like especially women, like especially when it's like, but it was only $5. I'm like, well, you didn't save $10 because it's on sale for $5. You spent $5.
Yeah, it's like 4 for £1, £4 for one, or 2 for 5, something like that.
Yeah, and you're like,
do you even need 2 of them though? You're just spending more.
Pure marketing. It's just and it's psychology that they know that a lot of people, if they can get them doing this on a personal level, then it's like they're gonna buy something, right? So it's crazy.
It's even little things like when you talk to people with your arms out as opposed to your arms folded. It's more inviting, and people 100%. People are more likely to listen to you.
Absolutely, they will. And what's crazy about that too is how manipulated we can be sometimes without even noticing. Just gotta, you know. So I don't know. I tell my wife that all the time because she's like, "It was only like this much." I'm like, "Do that times 10." You know what I mean? And then you're like, "Oh shit, what the hell?" That's why Starbucks, man. That place is like such a ripoff because they got it.
Well, it's good coffee.
It's good coffee. I'm not gonna lie. Coming from an Italian mother, and coffee was like, we drink a lot of coffee. Starbucks has pretty good coffee. Some people might think it's like, it's overpriced, but what they've done is they've created the perfect marketing package. Like when a little one's like $3 and then the middle one's like $5, but then the large one's like $9. That $9 makes the middle one look like a good deal.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So listen to that book.
So the small, they'll up the price.
Right. So that's how you can sell like products online, is essentially just be like, well, you can have this one for this price. You can have this one for this price. And it's like, well, this seems expensive. And it's like, okay, well, how about this one? And like, oh shit, that's really expensive. No, I'll just go with this one. It's like, yeah.
Clever though.
Oh, I'm telling you, that's a great book. Sometimes some of the chapters.
What was it again?
It's called Influence. Influence by Robert Cialdini. But are you on Amazon at all? Like Prime?
Yeah, yeah.
You have Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you're eligible for the Audible, the audiobooks, because I can't read. I can't sit there and read a book. So, man, it's beautiful if I'm driving or if I'm sanding. I pop it in and I listen to these.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you get so much information. And it's stuff that us as tradesmen don't think about. We don't think about.
You mentioning that Gary Vee the other day as well.
Okay, so yeah, Gary Vee is like the guy who's seen this whole thing happen before it happened. He knew Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. He knew what it was going to do, right? He took his parents' wine company from like $2 million in sales to like 70 million in like 2 years. So he knows his shit. And here's one little tip from him for content creators like us. Video is king. If you can take everything in video, then you can dissect it for photos, audio, everything, dude. So I started thinking about it that way. Yeah, because you can take the audio.
Like with the podcast then as well. So you, like now you do a live and then podcast.
So like sometimes it's like if it goes down to 3 followers, like, man, I'm not even about that. I don't care. I want to talk to you so we can get this and we can put it on the podcast. So when painters are painting, that's what they love the most. It's like, dude, I listened to your podcast all day today. I got through the day. I was by myself. That's what it's about, right? But it's doing it like this that I found I didn't okay because sitting in the office and doing like by yourself podcast is really freaking hard to do, man. Like,
just nothing to come back from, no flow conversation.
No, it's like you got to take notes, then you got to start thinking about, okay, like how do you stop yourself from being like, but like, so it's like, it's really hard as a monologue. So this is great. This is like a better way of doing it. And I've had a bunch of people be like, dude, the show's great. I've been watching your live shows. And I'm like, no, it's not a show, man. I'm just talking with all the people. I'm just talking with all the people that I have talked to behind closed.
Talk show.
Well, I don't think I have time for it. Right now I have time. That's why I'm capitalizing. Like, you know, I like you a lot. We chat.
Right, though.
Hey?
Quite right, though. When you've got the time, you're putting the time into something. So like you say, this is still work.
Yeah, for sure. Oh,
you may not be earning money directly from it, but it goes round, doesn't it?
Yeah, and if you have a family, and then sometimes they're like, what do you mean you're going to spend like 4 hours on an interview? Like, some of them think like some family, like, you know, your partner will be like, what are you getting out of that? My wife doesn't say that to me, but I could see that, right? And it's like, well, it's all about awareness and branding and creating friendships, man. Like now I feel like I'm actually meeting you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You sat on my couch right over there.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like we chatted for years through VM and that's really cool. But it's same thing with like Mick from HPS. Like we chat all the time, but actually never really seen him in a video. And that felt like I was like, wow, I feel like I'm actually meeting you now, man. You know?
Yeah, because you sort of like you can do voice message and then get a voice message straight back, but you don't get the personal facial reaction and flow of conversation. Like you'll send something funny and I'll laugh and then I'll respond. So you won't see the part of me laughing prior. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
You build a relationship better going and chat proper.
And you've probably done that a lot, hey? Like you said, Instagram's probably changed the world for you guys over there, hey?
Massively, yeah. Yeah, massively.
Massively, hey? Durate had a question here, and I think this will help. This will be good for both of us. Does your wife get upset with you for working too much?
Depends how many wines she's had.
Oh, is she in the room right now?
No, I'm just gonna shut the door.
Yeah, I feel you, man. It's
no, she's very, very supportive with regards to. I mean, she's always seen. I've always put my all into the business, but it's working so much more now from my Instagram. Like I'm getting the reach, I'm getting noticed more, and my business has progressed massively from the things that I've gone out and bought, techniques that have changed, my systems, my clientele. So she sees the worth in it all, but at the same time, I can be like a bit of a zombie at home sometimes because I'll go out and work all day, but when my missus finishes work, she's finished work. Yeah,
she's not bringing it home. Yeah,
she sees that I'm just scrolling. Yeah, you know, oh, you're just doing it for your ego. She never says that or anything, but do you know what I mean? She thinks 100. I'm just on here, just having a laugh, just chatting away.
Yep.
But it's got to be very hard for them to see how important it is for us because they're not sat in the middle of it.
No.
Like, I've got this whole family of all of you guys surrounding me now in my brain.
Yep.
You know, I've got such a network of friends now. To me, missus, she just thinks I'm chatting to randomers all day. Just chatting to randomers that I've never met before. So it's hard for you to understand. We've had the odd tip about it, but no, she's more supportive than anything.
Yeah, I'm sure she would be too, because any smart woman would see like, oh, this is benefiting in some way. I'm sure there's a ton of people who waste their fucking time on this all the time. And I think we are all guilty of that, right? But I always try my hardest to, if I'm going to be on it, trying to do something that's developing the account, right? And sometimes like I'll go down the wormhole like everybody does on like Facebook and you're just like watching video after video and you're like, cool. But it's the same for us. I mean, you know what? It's a tough one because when I was younger, my mother was Italian. My father was Chilean. My father's extremely hard worker. My mom was that stay-at-home mom all the time, but she didn't want him to take any risks, right? Like she was always just like, play it safe, play it safe. And that was something when I got together with my wife, I said from the get-go, I'm like, you have to trust me that I'm going to do what's best for us. Even if it might not seem like it, it is. But I'm going to take whatever risk I think I need to for us. And if I fail at it, I just need you to back me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, risk is rewarded, but not. I'm a big believer that everybody in their lifetime has at least 2 or 3 opportunities to be exactly what they want to be.
Yeah.
You know, if you're aiming at something, but you've got to take a risk here and there to get there. You've got to do something that will stand you out above the rest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sort of thing. It's not always going to work out, but it's how often is it going to put you in a position when you're on the street and you're struggling? I think that's rare. I think you can put yourself in a position where you're struggling for a while, maybe if you take a risk. But I think if you just sit there and just live by the system, and you get comfortable, I think you just end up earning your money week in, week out.
Yeah.
I think if you want to make it in any succession, be it a career in sport, be it a career in anything, business, I think you've got, especially business, I think you've got to take risks.
100%. So how do you, here's a good one for you, man. Cause I struggle with this sometimes. Like, I feel like sometimes my wife would follow me to the ends of the earth, no matter what I wanted to do. And she said, she's like, if you wanted to follow your dream, I'd come with you. And I'm like, it's not that easy. It's not this, fairy tale thing where it's like, if I wanted to just quit, for example, I know you've said, I've heard you say in the past that if you could do something different, you'd probably want to do professional rugby. I think you said that, right? Am I not making that up?
Well, I had an opportunity when I was younger to do that. But it was a wasted opportunity because at the age where I got scouted for this team, that was the age where my mum and dad, my dad was a chef at the time, so we couldn't watch any of my games. So whilst I was becoming more successful at it, I got bored of it. You know, I was playing 2 or 3 times, playing twice a week and training 3 times a week for different teams, like my regional, my county, and my local. I just ended up quitting because all of my mates were out drinking, smoking, and but yeah, no, I won't go too far into that because you had a question.
Yeah. Well, I just mean, do you ever feel like sometimes maybe that because I think about my parents and I feel bad for them sometimes that they just maybe stayed together for the kids and there was like all these opportunities in life that could have made them happy and they never took that risk. So sometimes when I think about certain things, I'm like, man, should I just follow my dream and do what I really would love to? I love painting, but then sometimes I'm like, it's not a reality. So I feel like I have to wait now to follow my dream. But when it's like, if you wanted to quit and do music tomorrow, I'd support you. And I'm like,
so is that what you want to do with music?
Oh man, if I could be like a full-time writer, producer, musician, I don't even need the fame. I just need to be able to express myself through music because I really like it. And I think I'm pretty good at it. So I always said that to my parents, like if you would have pushed us more to take these routes of opportunities, then maybe something more would have came out of it. Hindsight's 2020, right? But sometimes like I watch like documentaries, I'm like music stuff, and I'm like, I think I could have done that. And sometimes I start to not get depressed, but I'm like, man, you know what? Maybe I should try. And then I look at what I built and my family and stuff. I'm like, yeah, no, fuck that.
Yeah. To be honest, with me, painting was more my saving grace. Because it's a job that I fell in love with. So once I stopped playing rugby, and the guy that I used to play with in all these teams, he's now a professional. We got scouted at the same time for different teams, but I was going to the matches with his mum and dad.
Yeah.
See, my dad used to come with me, take me training all the time, but then he couldn't, whereas my mum just never came. So all I ever heard was, go on, Josh, like on the sidelines when I was playing. So being young as well at the time, I just jumped out of it because I got bored of it. But painting for me, it's become my saving grace because I do see that there's so many ways you can become successful, not necessarily by Instagram, but just by there's so many avenues you can take.
Absolutely.
To becoming the best at I don't think you can become the best painter sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? There's too many things going on.
Yeah.
But I think you can be highly successful. But I would class being successful is getting into the really high-end market, putting out the standard of work that I want to put out daily, weekly, not having to every now and again do a repaint because there's not that much clientele about for it. Like, I would consider that success.
I think you've done pretty freaking well, man. You know, like you said, it all comes down to what you. Well, it's true. Like, if you're happy and you're surviving, that's success.
100%.
And it all comes down to like, okay, well, now I've become successful. Now it's like I want to better myself one more. Then, like you said, now I'm gonna go for that high and stuff. I'm gonna up my game one more level, because, like, you know, like, there's tons of people who are successful and they might just even work at McDonald's, and there's nothing fucking wrong with that.
Yeah. I think this is what I mean. There's a big thing. I actually question myself on this a lot. Like, do I spend too much time trying to become successful in my work side of things? Whereas a lot of people will just be happy and be maybe a lot more happier than I am, because I'm never satisfied with where I'm at. I'm always thinking, right, I need to progress here. I need to progress here.
No,
and I think that's never going to change.
Nope.
You know what I mean? I think a lot of us have got that, especially on Instagram.
For sure.
A lot of us have got that. But then I sit there and I think, what if I get to 40 or 50 or 60 and I've made shitloads of money, but you know, I've spent most of my time with my missus on my phone, or, you know.
Don't. Oh man, that's something I struggle with on a daily, because when you have kids, man, fuck. It's like,
yeah, I think that's got to be heightened even more.
It was hard because, like I was saying to Mick yesterday, that I was growing my company when I was young, like in my prime, but at the same time when I had kids. So it was like I was stuck in a position, a hard one, where it's like I can not go that hard and just be like right here, which is fine. But for me, I couldn't do that. So me and my wife butted heads a lot in terms of like, you're working another weekend. You said you weren't. And it's like, I know. And then time goes by and I see my kids now and they're 14, and I'm finally getting a chance through all the hard work 16 years later to slow down and maybe take time off. And that's when I'm like, did I make a mistake? I have no idea. My kids are great. They're amazing. My family's amazing, but sometimes it's a hard one. So don't think about it, man, because like it's a tough.
I'm just going to work now until I have kids, and I'm like, that's it.
So, you know, that's what it is, man. And it's like, and if you and your wife choose not to have kids, awesome. Then you guys can like grow together even more. That's a wicked thing too. You know, I'm really glad I had kids, because like for you with painting, it was your saving grace. Kids was my saving grace. I always knew that I like to work hard, but now I was like, okay, just focus on this. Save all your money, because eventually I knew hopefully it would come back and pay off. But at what cost? Because you know all those old school guys, well, you don't have kids. All the old school guys would say to me like, yo, man, don't do that. Your wife, one guy particularly was like, your wife's going to leave you. Your wife will leave you, man. And he had the experience. Like, don't do that, man. Your time's going to fly. You always have time to make money. But I want to
see. I think a lot of men. It's a very old-fashioned thing. I think mostly for men. A lot of like I spend a lot of time thinking about finances and money.
Yeah.
And spend a lot of my time, which may be wrong, thinking my role, especially if I had kids, my idea of it would be like, right, I've got to go out to work and earn that much money that my kids are never going to have to worry, sort of thing. But then there's the other aspect of it is like you said, do I spend enough time with them?
Yeah.
And I think it's a really difficult thing for all of us, especially most of us on the IG platform, see how hard we all work. But is that considered success, really? Because all we are really is being part of the system, working for the big guys, sort of thing, paying our taxes. You know, what's more successful, earning loads of money or having a big happy family?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to learn that from my kids right now, because I do see, like, my kids do see how hard I work, and I think that they're going to be like that. I can already see it in them, because you become sort of a product of
your... You're instilling it, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a product of your environment. They see how hard I work all the time, and they already, like, these two kids, they already want to start their own businesses, right? Like, my son wants to build computers and, like, sell them, like, you know, custom gaming PCs.
They'll probably better you. They will probably better you because every kid wants to make the dad proud.
Yeah.
And then they're like your successor, aren't they?
But like you said, are they really happy? Would they rather have had me here? Because trust me, man, I get mad at my wife sometimes because she's like, oh man, you're gonna work like again, and I'm like, do you think that's easy for me to be by myself a lot of the time, working, making money, and you guys are like skating or like going to like birthday parties, making memories, and she's like, yeah, that's why you need to be here, and I'm like, you know how fucking stressful that is?
Well, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because also at the same time, you'll be thinking like, oh, I'm sat at home for 3 weeks when I could be out earning money. Which is it's backing for if anything ever goes wrong.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm learning a lot from this time off right now because, for one, mentally, I'm realizing, like, I actually don't have to work all the time. You know what I mean? When you're in a grind, you're like in a grind. So it's like, where's the next job, you know? So that's been good. And now I'm starting to see my kids a lot more. Like, now, the one thing I love about being self-employed, my dad never picked me up from school. Like, straight up, man. And that's what because they say the same thing to me. They're like, sometimes you just work all the time. Or they'll joke. They'll be like, oh, no surprise, you're working again on Saturday. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm doing that. So if I want to leave work at 2:00 because I'm the boss and pick you up, I can. My dad could never do that.
Oh, yeah.
Double-ended sword, like you said, right?
It's tough. But I mean, I'm sat here like a fucking 40-year-old. But as if I've got kids.
Well, I'm just, you know,
But I can see it because I'm so self-driven, and am I doing that in a selfish way, or am I doing it because of how much I love my missus?
No.
Because my biggest motivation is my missus getting us into a position financially that my missus will never have to worry. I don't want to be week in, week out when I'm 40 years old. And it's like they say, though, I think you've done it right, man, because maybe this is the perfect time for you to not stop what you're doing, not slow down, but take that step back and have your weekends, because they say work hard when you're young. Then you don't have to. Yeah,
that's what I told my wife. And a lot of those old timers, like John was saying, like, I think every old timer tells you to spend more time with your family. But I kind of did the math, like you're saying. I was like, well, if I work hard for like 15 years right now, like by the time I'm like 35, maybe 40, it's like I don't have to work so hard. But like you said, it's all up here. I'm like, I need a drive. I can't sit at home. I've been trying to, bro. And oh my God, like, that's why I'm on these lives all the time now, right? Because I'm like, what am I gonna do? And then people
need to talk paid, man.
Well, it's like only so much, because my kids are getting older now, which is like another sad part of it, that they don't always want to go and hang out with you now. So it's like there's only so much I can hang. And they have lives, and it's like, and it's cool to be like not with your parents sometimes, even though we're really young parents. But it's like I can only hang out with them so much now, right? So it's whatever makes you happy, right?
But this is the thing. It's trying to learn what makes you happy, because I'm so self-driven in the point where I'm like, right, because of my childhood where I was just such a throwaway, I just wasted everything I got, and I could, if it weren't for my dad, I'd have been in a really, really bad position. So now I'm just like, right, I've just got to work. I'm going to get rich. I've got to get comfortable. And I'm not scared, but I'm like, if I have a weekend off, you can bet your ass I'm getting the beers out again. So the way I sort of see my weekends is if I'm either spending 200 quid at the weekend or earning more. So
I guess you're right. It's the choice of like, you have to gauge a choice of what you want to make you happy and how to go about it, I guess, right? Working makes me happy. I'm not going to lie. My wife knows that.
Yeah. I enjoy my job.
Me too.
Massive. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot. So, but what time is it there? You getting tired? You getting tired or what?
Am I getting tired?
No, I'm saying, what time is it there now? It's probably what, 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Nice.
9 o'clock. How long have we been on?
Do you really want to know? It's been 2 hours and 4 minutes, folks.
How long do they usually last?
Fuck, as long as we want it to, bro. If you finally are just like, oh, peace the fuck out.
No, I'm not tired, but I'm conscious that my missus might be hungry for a takeaway.
Okay, you let me know, bro. Anytime if you're like, man,
I can go for a bit. Yeah, let's do another 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, sure,
I'm enjoying
man.
the chat. I'm enjoying the chat.
Absolutely, dude. So whenever you need to go, you just go. What do you guys? Okay, well there's another topic. Like, what are you taking out? What do you guys like?
God, you don't know.
Oh, the Chinese. The Chinese. I seen that one time. Yeah.
I order so much food. Like, because I just see that and I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be nice. Oh yeah, that'd be nice. Oh, yeah. And that's like 3 meals at this point, and they all come with chips. And I'm sat there. My missus has got like a pizza, maybe a bit of chicken, and I fill the rest of the table with this feast. And it's so wasteful because I don't often eat a lot of it.
Right. So
I like the choice.
Are you guys more takeout people? Not much for cooking?
See, the thing is, at the minute with COVID, we're not doing as much shopping. So I love a takeaway. I love a takeaway. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But we went through this phase where we had like 3 takeaways a week for a good few months, and it's like it's either Indian, Chinese, or a kebab and a pizza.
Right.
So there's only so much of that you can eat.
Gotcha.
After a while.
Gotcha.
Because
we were trying to do the same thing, but we were trying to like budget it out because sometimes we'd feel guilty for doing takeout. But then I'm like, well, hold on. I'd say to like my wife, like, well, you're saving a little bit of time. And then it's like sometimes there's not like a waste because if you order it, like it's just for like personal meals, and it's like cool. So we were doing it for a while, but then sometimes it's like you say, it's like, oh man, like I think we must have had fucking pizza for like a month.
Pizza's good though.
Oh,
you've got that Italian, man.
I love it, man. I love it.
Italian pizza, bro.
Oh, dude. And then my mom too, like she's an amazing cook. So sometimes, well, with the COVID, we haven't been able to go there, and the kids are missing that. They love going to their nonnas for like breakfast, and like, oh, my mom just to the nines all the time. But with the COVID, I think
it's like a thing when you become a nana or a grandma, it's like they're the best cook.
Oh man. And she's the typical, like I said, Marie from Everybody Loves Raymond. Like when I was a kid, dude, the stuff that she would do, it's like I'd come home from school, my whole fucking room would be rearranged and cleaned.
Yeah.
I'm like, and it's like, Ma, what'd you do with that? Like, what'd you do? Oh, it's there. It's like, it's not here, or else it'd be there.
This is my missus all over.
Oh,
like, if I put something down on the table, she tidies it away. I'm like, where the hell is it gone? And I panic. I start panicking, like especially if I'm setting off to work in the morning and I can't find my car keys or I can't find my phone or something. And I know I'll put it somewhere, and it's her fault straight away. Now if I can't find it, I'm like, where have you put it?
Does she at least remember though? Because sometimes my wife's like, I never seen that. I never touched it, and then it'll be in a spot she usually puts it. I'm like, does she?
Not have left it there.
Does she forget though? Because fuck, man.
She turns around and goes, why would I touch your stuff? And I'm like, push it tidy. Like tidy up after. Like this room that I've got in here, it's like my gaming room, so I'm recording. Right?
Yep.
This is spare room, is my room. So if anything's in here, like I've got my vaping.
Yep.
I leave all my juices out on the side, so when I'm vaping, I can
Yep.
put it on. And I'm coming in, it's all gone, and I'm like, where's your porn? But she goes, men leave things on the floor, but they know they've left it there.
Yeah. Oh,
so
100%.
She's like, well, I was just tidying up, and I'm like, yeah, but where have you put it? Because I can pick, if I've left something somewhere, I can go straight to that spot.
Yeah.
And when it's not there, then I'm panicking.
100%.
I walk around the house like 4 times, looking in the same drawer.
Yeah.
Like 4 times, and I just get more and more mad with it. I
just started looking in her spots now. I don't even fucking look at my spots anymore.
There's only so many places you're going to have put it.
100%, man. I got to tell you a story about this wine glass that she has. This wine glass disappeared, bro. And for like weeks and months, she was like, where'd that glass go? And she's asking the kids. She's asking me. And then all of a sudden, one fucking day, it just showed up on the counter. And still, till this day, the kids are like, wasn't me. I'm like, well, it wasn't me. My wife's like, it had to be fucking one of you. And it doesn't just show up. And I was like, and still I'm like puzzled, like, what the hell? Like, did somebody forget like using it and putting it? And then like, how did it get back on the counter? And
I think it was the missus, mate. I think the missus just found it one day when you was at work and she was like, oh. I'll put it on the side and we'll blame
I
the kids.
tell her that because then she'll do like what you're saying, and I'll be like, "Hey, where'd you put that?" And she'll be like, "Oh, right." She did it the other night. She's like, "We're finished having dinner. Sometimes my little dog, she will put like a plate down, and she'll just let him lick it. You know, like, here, buddy, you lick this plate clean. You know what I mean? Just for a little treat for him." So she looks down. She's like, "You put your dish in the dishwasher, and you couldn't take mine." And I was like, "I didn't go to the," and I'm looking and my plate's gone, and I'm like, "I didn't go to the dish, what?" And then we look down and the dog's licking the plate. I looked at her, I was like, "You just gave him the plate and forgot?" And then I looked at her, I was like, "That's what happened with that white cup, isn't it? That's what happened with that wine glass." And she was like, "Don't you fucking bring that up." Yeah, but are you a counter guy? Do you put a lot of stuff on the counters?
Yeah, see, I can come home, right? Yeah, I put stuff on the side all the time. But I can come home and I'll tidy. I'd rather tidy the whole house, but the washing up, I just can't. I would rather spend 4 hours hoovering, dusting, straightening up. But the washing up, I just put on the counters.
Oh yeah,
nice pile right in the corner. I just can't fathom it. Every now and again, I'll be like, right, I'm gonna have to do it today. Then I have to run. All right, baby.
Hello.
We're just talking about paint. Yeah.
Talking about painting the dishes. So does your wife work too?
Yeah, she's a key worker.
Oh, okay. Right. So that's a little bit of a different story then, because she works, so it's like you, right? So at the end of the day, you both have worked hard all day. So the takeout is probably the better way sometimes, right?
Yeah, we're not in the mood. We're not usually in the mood for cooking. I've tried saying a few times, like, why don't we get into cooking as a hobby? And it'll get us eating good meals, and we can get all the Ramsay books out and start cooking, and we'll make a thing of it. We'll cook tea together every night.
Yeah.
But if it's, I'll be honest, I'll come home and I'll just wait for tea to be ready. Then if it's not ready, I'll come down and I'm like, right, we're ordering a takeaway.
What's up with them sausages?
Well, yeah.
2 minutes Turkish.
But with my missus, that's another story actually, because the difficulty is my missus sees me I've accepted not being a rugby player now. So this is my newfound dream. This is what my career, I should say. That I put all my eggs in the basket now. I don't want to do anything else.
Yep.
So she sees me doing this, and she's really supportive about it. But then also gets a bit down sometimes because she went to uni. She got BA honours in film production.
Oh wow, good for her.
She wanted to be a director, but where we live, it's really difficult to get into, and she's very talented with it. So she's doing this very selfless job at the minute, being a domestic key worker. But at the same time, she's not necessarily chasing her dreams. She's slowly seeing years. She's only 24, but she's slowly seeing the years go by, and she's thinking, well, if I don't start now, when am I going to be able to?
Yep. It's a hard one, man, because...
I don't know where it was, but...
Oh, no, I was just peacing out. One guy said he was leaving, so I was just throwing up a peace sign. But yeah, that's a tough one, man. My wife struggled with that, especially once the kids were in school full time, because she stayed at home for 10 years raising a family, and then and then it's like, and then it's like, what am I gonna do? And your wifey, she should follow her dream. Maybe she could do it online. No?
Well, yeah. I've actually said to her, I was like, tell you what, you come to work with me and record for me, and then maybe your editing's gonna be that good. That this could be a thing.
100%. I mean, I think that would work, but of course it always comes down to like, well, I need to make money. So it's like, because I've even said that to my wife, like, I'll pay you, but then sometimes I'm like, being that you're my wife, like, do you really want me to like lay the hammer down when I'm paying you and then you're not following through?
Well, and women, especially women, are very independent, motivated now as well. She really wants to be her own person. Which I've got to respect. I can be very, what's the word? Like I can't think of the word. Like not selfish, but I get so caught up in.
Oh, self-involved.
Yeah. So my idea is, from my dad, my teaching is very old-fashioned. Is I go out to work, I provide for my family, I'm the breadwinner, yada, yada, yada. But now, in this generation, my missus wants to go. I've always said to my missus, if you don't like your job, quit. I'll support it.
There you go.
You know? But my missus is like, no, I want to work. I want to do something. So I've got to have a lot of respect for that. But I can sometimes just get caught up in what I'm doing, and not really pay enough attention to the fact that, because I just say to myself, well, we're fine. We've got money. You know, we're not struggling. But it's not always just about the finances. You know, she's got a dream she wants. I know how driven I am. And if she feels half the way I do, I can completely understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one, man, because they need to do it too. They need to. And trust me, from my wife, she knows, staying at home with like 3-year-olds for like 2 years, it's like you don't have adults to talk to. Eventually I said to her, you need it for you. You gotta go
the
and
social
do
aspect
it.
at least as
Absolutely, man. And she's really happy. She has a job that it found her. I think it fit in for her perfectly. She loved it. She loves it. If she wanted to follow her dream, she could. But I think for now, we're all satisfied. And I can't speak for that. But that's why I tried to bring her in on the furniture, because I was like, well, hey, like, let's like start this brand and like let's do it together and you know, we'll make it funny. We'll shoot some videos together, and you know, people can see a little more of a personal side. But now you still have like, here, like you can design these, because that's technically what she's doing. I buy a piece, I show it to her, she designs it, I paint it, we put it together. It has its pros and cons for sure, but she sees it as a designer, and I see it as an applicator. So sometimes I'm like, well, you've seen the wallpapers, right? And I've been posting. They're so expensive.
Yeah.
Like, so, but it's cool. Like, I'm saying that because back to your idea, like if she could come around with you and stuff, then she could see like what you're doing. You can do it together. It's still time spent together. So maybe that'd be something she'd be into, right?
Yeah. But the only thing is then is she may not feel as self-successful. I think that's a big thing for her. She doesn't want to be spoon-fed. Which, I mean, 50% of women, maybe not 50%, but a lot of women, you're either one of the women that's just like, I want to meet a man that's going to earn loads of money, you know, he'll be successful. But now, especially, you know, we're in 2021, 20 now, you know what I mean? She really wants to be self-successful and make me proud of what she's doing. Do you know what I mean?
I could see that, man. I could see that.
So but I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her just from the fact that she wants to go out and work. 100%. Because I've offered her straight out, silver platter, look, you don't have to work. I'd rather struggle to the end. I get pride in myself for providing. That's a big motivator.
100%. I tell my wife, just like you, I said, hey, sometimes I get a little aggravated because I'm like, yo, you can go and follow your dream right now. Like, you don't have to worry about bills. You have to worry about the kids. But even now they're in school full time, like, you can follow your dream right now. I'm helping you do that. But I think it's like you say, sometimes they're like, well, it's like, I want to go and do it on my own. I'm like, well, you can go do it on your own. You're just going to get a little bit of help. Like, go and do it. And it's the day and age where women, man, they're so strong, so powerful. They should do it. I never hold
really,
my
man. They're a lot stronger than they get credit for, to be fair.
They push a baby out of their vagina. And that's what I always go back to.
Yeah, well, baby getting kicked in the nuts.
My son always says that. He's like, you've never been kicked in the nuts before. And I'm like, yeah, word up, straight up what he said. I'm like, you've never been kicked in the nuts. Right? So
women are made to have a baby. Yeah. We're made to be kicked in the nuts, bro.
Okay, good point. I'm gonna remember that one for sure. Good point. Yeah, but it's amazing what they can do. I just wish they all do it. Go and do it, right?
Yeah, she's my support, my backbone.
What's her name?
If I'm ever struggling, because it is difficult. Like, we can all act confident over the camera.
Yeah.
You know, we have to have some level of confidence to be able to put ourselves out there. But behind closed doors, we all have mental stresses and, you know, 100%. Issues going on. It's not all what people see on the camera. So when I have the bad day, she's there every time.
Yeah. What's her name?
Mia.
Mia? Nice. Hey, man, it's all about that strong, independent woman, because they can do it. You know, I respect Lindsay's mom a lot, because she was single mom with 3 kids. university and everything. So I give her a lot of props for that. That's probably really tough to do.
Well, this is the thing. I've always said to my missus, I took her to uni and back for 3 years. Like, I'd take her in the morning, go to work, and then bring her back. Because she wants to chase a dream. Whatever she wants to do, I'm behind it. Like, I'm not one of them that wants her to stay at home, but I'm just more than happy to provide. And I want her to be comfortable.
Absolutely.
But I think it's jumping in the deep end as well. I've put forward to me, Mrs. Look, why don't you just go out and buy a camera to start? And then just go out and buy a few bits of equipment at a time. Buy the Apple Mac and the software that you need. Well, I even said at Christmas, I said, look, why don't I buy you that laptop that's got all your software on it? And then just advertise yourself slowly. Go and do a wedding for your mate. Film a wedding. Or, because if there's one thing we're good at, it's running a business. Do you know, we've all built the business up from the ground up. So I can help her with every step of the way with the business side of things. She knows what she's doing with the footage, the camera work and whatnot. But then when I put that idea forward to her, she's just a bit like, is it going to work though? And then she's a bit, I wouldn't say scared of it, but once it's in front of them, they're just like, well, how do I start? Because I had my dad at the end of the day. My dad, he got his degree in business when he was younger. So for him, starting the business off was really easy. He knew how to advertise, he knew how to put himself out there. And that just, like you said, of your surroundings, a fabric of your surroundings, and that just slowly sunk into me. Whereas my missus probably doesn't think she's got that, because she's like, well, how do I start a business? Where do I start? Do you know what I mean?
You just do.
You just do, yeah.
You just do, and don't be afraid. She's got you, right? Because like some of the people that are commenting on here right now, 100% doing it on your own is way harder. So it's hard to have those conversations, bro, because if I were to think about having that conversation with my wife, it would be like, all right, tread softly here. But at the same time, it's like, yo, you have me. I'm telling you, go. If you make all the mistakes, in my circumstance, it's different, because I'm like, yo, if I slip and fall, you're all going to suffer. But if you slip and fall, I'll catch you. And, and you'll be good. So just go and do it. So props to anyone that's doing it on their own. And another guy here too, it's not just about the single mothers. There are single fathers out there too. So props to you. But in Mia's situation, dude, fucking go buy the camera, and just be like, here.
No, here it is.
Here, and do it when you want. But I started putting my wife into it a little bit because I wanted her to see, for one, that there's tons of opportunity online nowadays that we don't even realize, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. And then for two, it's also a little bit to show her that this ain't all fucking easy work. Like, I started putting her in the videos and stuff now.
It's not as fun as it looks.
No. Fun. And she's like, and then she tries sometimes, so she'll try posting with the furniture, and I'm like, oh yeah, see, it's not always what it seems, hey? So, but I want that for her, so yeah, man. I wish the best for your girl too. Like, it's
thank you, and you, man.
Trust me. I mean, maybe if she doesn't want to take my advice, but my wife, she was young, and she cut off all that bullshit to be a mother. And I give her so much respect for that, because she didn't have to. She didn't have to quit smoking. Yeah. She didn't have to stop partying, and she did. And so for me,
that takes the pressure off you massively. Then
it takes the pressure. Well, it takes the pressure off me, but it also puts a lot of stress on her. She was young. She was a first-time mother. She had no friends because none of our friends were having kids. So I think my point to that is with Mia. I mean, take this however, but you have the world at your fingertips right now with somebody as great as you, as Nathan, right? So just fucking go do it. There's nothing that's going to happen. I'm not that great, man. Oh, man. We all have our faults, bro. We all have our, trust me, we all have our faults. And I think you start to realize how much you actually love somebody by the shit you can say to them when you're mad.
God. The things that you don't mean, that just, it comes out and you're like,
and a lot of people think like, oh, well, if you really loved them, you wouldn't say that. But I've never had anybody make me feel the way my wife has made me feel, because that's the type of relationship we have.
Yeah, see, I'm completely with that. There's like me and my missus, we're both, when we get mad, it's because you love each other so much, because you're so passionate about what you're saying. You really just get to a point where you're just saying hurtful things, that are just aimed at her. So she'll say something that is just completely directed to hurt me, which I'll just respond with, and then so that you're just arguing really about nothing. But that I base that down on how much you love each other, because people can say, oh, well, you two argue loads when you're drinking, or me and my missus haven't argued for 2 years, and it's like, well, not really that bothered then, are you?
It's tough. Because the guy I worked with, he said, man, if you and your wife don't argue, there's a fucking problem.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you know,
I mean, I've no doubt there's the odd fairy tale relationship out there where everything's perfect, blue moon forever.
But maybe they deal with it in a different way, where it's like, you know, it's like, oh, I don't know. But I think it all comes back to how you deal with what you've said later. Right? Because you can let it slide and go under the rug, or you can be like, listen, this is why I feel that way, right? So it's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is.
It's tough.
It is. I think I'm going to go out and buy that camera at some point. As long as she's not listening.
Dude, like that's what, and I did that with my wife. I was like, what do you want to do? Because she did photography for a while, but then she was doing weddings and stuff, but there was just too.
So what does your missus do now then? Is she just filming?
She works at a consignment store part-time, like selling clothes, like a high-end consignment store, which she loves because she loves that and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I know that she has dreams and aspirations, and I know one day she'll do them when she's not content anymore. I might be wrong. Maybe I'm speaking for her wrong, but I do think that she's happy, and if she wants to be happier, probably just like your girl, eventually that will push them to just go and do what they want to do. Yeah. Like, it's different for my situation because we still have, like, my daughter's still 11, so there's not that 100% independence there yet, but one day it will be there, and I really hope she just jumps for it, you know? So I did the same with her. I was like, whatever you want to do, here it is. So just buy your wife the camera, get her set up, and then if she doesn't touch it for freaking a year, she will eventually touch it.
Well, even if she tries and then doesn't like it, it's put to bed. Do you know what I mean?
And then you don't spend your whole life wondering. Right?
Yeah.
So
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, man. For sure. Do it for her. You're a nice guy. You're not all that bad, I don't think, man. Yeah, exactly.
That guy.
You're a nice guy.
Fucking ego, no man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, you know, I hope the best for you always, bro. I got much love for you, so I hope the best.
Mate, man, respect. It's nice to have been on and fucking finally had a chat, bro.
Absolutely, man. We can do this again anytime. Shit, man. I mean, I don't even know when my next job starts. So
see you tomorrow.
Yeah, no shit, man. Yeah, we'll have tea. Let's do it.
We'll do weekly episodes, bro.
Oh, fuck, man. And like I said, everyone's like, oh, I love the show. And I'm like, no, man, I ain't starting the show. I'm just talking with all the people I've always wanted to chat with. And it's sweet. Yeah, and now I can record it and put it as a podcast. And you and I could even listen back to it. So it's wicked.
I definitely will. Definitely will.
Yeah, I'll post it up, man.
I'll probably listen to myself and be like,
oh, man. It's actually, sometimes my wife is like, are you watching yourself? And I'm like, well, yeah, kind of. Like, I have to sometimes watch or listen back to these.
Yeah.
I have to like be, you know, and it's really cool actually sometimes.
Yeah, but you're not always. Sorry to interrupt you. My missus says that a lot. Like, I could come home and watch my same video 20 times over, but I look at it from a critical angle. Not from like, oh yeah, look how good I look on camera. Not an ego-y way. I'm really critical about myself when I'm watching them and thinking, like, how can I improve? How can I improve the way I am?
Yeah.
How I voice myself. Do you know 100%. What I mean?
That's like teams watching their games back, or boxers watching that last fight and watching it back because it's making adjustments, right? So, I mean, some people are probably like, well, it's not the same as a content creator. Well, kind of. Because it's like, how do you want to portray it? It is. How do you want to portray it? You want to be this.
And we're putting our work out there. It's our passion, our pride and joy.
100%, man. And I've always focused on that. I would rather just I'd rather wait for the good stuff than to just post it for the straight fact of posting.
Just for the sake, yeah.
Just for the sake of it, it depends on what it is. That's why you're seeing a lot more personal stuff in my life, because I still like posting and I still like the algorithm working, but I'm like, shit, I'm not on very many jobs right now. So, and the one builder that I am working for, they don't want us posting anything.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be doing some amazing projects, and they won't even let us post it. So
that's one of them, innit? See, I found myself when I had time off, I'd be like, I better go and start working in the trailer so I can post something.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Try and find things to do.
Like I said, my wife was like, "You're seriously gonna like?" Because at first I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do some furniture," and then she was like, "All right, yeah, sweet." The shop sitting, yeah, sweet. And then I looked at her, I was like, "Yeah, like 10 pieces." And she was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna do it just for the sake of doing it. I would like to maybe make something out of it." So I was like, well, maybe I'll start like a small refab line or something like that. And now it's getting to the point where she's like, stop fucking buying furniture. I'm like, all right.
You're buying it quick and you put it back out.
Yeah. And it's funny because a couple of guys I've chatted to, they're like, so like, what are you selling this stuff for? I'm like, I have no clue. I've done the homework to see if it's something for the market, and it is, but I have no clue where to come in at. So just like me,
and it's how long you spend on it for how much the piece is worth as well. Well, I guess it's also a collective aspect. Like, you got to be able to buy the right thing in the first place to restore.
It's a tough one, man. We've been juggling it, because if I base it solely on costs, like including my time, it's really expensive. So I'm like, fuck, man. Like, no one's going to pay for just an expensive paint job because it's old furniture redone. So I'm investing in it a little bit right now. But worst case scenario, like I was going to say for your girl, if worst case scenario, I have 10 pieces of furniture sitting in my basement that have price tags. If they don't ever sell in like the first few weeks, if they sell all of them in the next 2 years, I don't give a shit. I don't really need it, right? It's just another one of those self-righteous goals where I'm like, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I can do this.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that though, man. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not, I think, surely a woman's got to see, I don't mean you missus in specific, but I think seeing someone motivated rather than, would you rather be you or the guy that just comes home and goes, right, that's it, telly on.
Well,
sits there all night. Like, men get a lot of jip for doing it.
They do.
You're going to tell me that.
Well, no, I was going to say that
sometimes
I'm too much of that. And I feel like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't want.
Yeah, but you probably think that because of your working brain.
Yes, but sometimes like I'm like saying to her like, "Yo, like what the fuck?" And she's like, "Yo, take it easy." And that's my fault that I'm like, because I'm this OCD kind of guy, so I can't put that on her sometimes. But sometimes I'm like, "Yo, like what the fuck? Toxic clock's ticking here. Like what the fuck's going on?" And she'll be like, and she'll look at me and be like, "Yo, you need to chill out." And like, yeah, you're probably right. I probably just need to chill. Yeah, that's life though, bro. That's life, man.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. But I will let you go, man, because I know it's probably getting late there and you guys probably want to have a bite. And but thanks for coming on, man. Let's do it again any fucking time.
Mate, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
Great show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thanks. Well, I was saying it would be cool to have like a late night show of some sort that, because like I say, you don't have to worry about swearing on this because I don't really care. I do it all the time. But it would be cool to have some topics that aren't always just paint, you know?
Yeah, we've all got a life behind this.
Yeah, and it would be cool to have some of that, maybe some comedy, some like not drama, but like really dig into like topics that are more than just painting, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man. So
we've all got reasons for being here. We've all got. At the end of the day, we're all putting ourselves on camera, so there is a form of motivation or ego or something that's brought us to the point where we were like, right, I'm going to start Instagram. I'm going to start vlogging myself.
Yeah.
It's not. You've got to be a certain type of character to do it. Not everyone does stuff like that. Obviously, everyone watching and everyone that we all know, we are that type of character, but we've all got a different reason for coming to this point, to the paint pan.
Absolutely. And I would like to try and get real opinions out of people. Because you know how it is. You probably know how it is now with Instagram. It's like this devil's advocate thing where it's like you kind of got to play it straight down the middle because you don't want to play favorites. You don't want to, have people pissed at you. You want to just be professional in that sense. Not that it matters, but it does because you don't want to insult people. But sometimes I would really like to know.
That, if you stoop to people's level, you're risking lowering your own integrity as well.
100%. And I think some people are just not saying the full truth to be professional and polite, which is cool and which is a good thing. But sometimes I'd be like, tell me what you really think. And that'd be cool.
You do some things as well. Open the paint family right up, mate.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, it could be dangerous, but it could also be really good because we're all humans. So it's like, let's hear some.
At the end of the day, people are still thinking the things they think, whether they voice it or not.
Yeah, they're thinking it. So I don't know.
Get K Watts on here.
Yeah, I know. Oh shit, man! Definitely.
What are you thinking, bro?
What are you thinking? Tell me. Well, that could be bad and it could be good. So maybe and at the same time, I don't know if I have the time to actually do a show. So, but it is something because I like listening to Joe Rogan and some of the shit that they talk about on there. I'm like, yeah, this would be fucking awesome. I'm like, for the paint fam, you know, talk about even maybe some politics or some entertainment. Hey,
bit of heat.
Little bit of heat. That keeps us human, right?
Yeah, right. We're all human, man.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, brother.
Man, well, I'm gonna shoot, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You guys have a great dinner, and thanks for jumping in. And like I said, I'll edit this a tad, and I'll post it up, and I'll tag you in it, and yeah, listen to it back, man.
Yeah, man. Please do.
I will.
What's that influence again? Who's that by?
It's called. I'll still text it to you, but for anyone that's here listening, it's Influence by Robert Cialdini. And it's, like I said, just a book on sales, marketing, psychology. It's a really good one. But listen to it on Audible if you can. Because then you don't have to, like, read it, right? Yeah. And Dave Ramsey, that's another good one. Check that guy out. Okay?
Gary V.
Gary V, yeah. Just start filling your brain with knowledge. It's fuck yeah.
He's so motivational as well. He's very good. I could do a show with him to my missus. He'll just be like, what, you want to do it? Well, fucking do it. Go and fucking do it.
So that's what I was gonna say. That's what he would say to her. He'd be like, "So, what's the problem?" And she'd probably be like, "Well," it'd be like, "So what's the problem?"
So you don't want it then. If you're not doing it, you don't want to do it. Do you?
That's what some people need, though, man. And Gary V's really good for that. Really good for that.
He puts businessmen in the place big time.
It does. Like the last video I seen was a girl saying like, "Hey, I've been doing real estate for about 2 years. I've been doing really well. I've made good money, but now I'm just kind of like, And he looked at her. He's like, "Okay, what's the problem?" And she was like, "Well, do you think that's bad that I don't have a feel for it?" He's like, "Why the fuck should there be a guideline? You killed sales and real estate for 2 years. Go on to the next thing. Why not?"
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
100%.
100%, man. So I wish you guys the best.
So
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, so we'll kill paint for 10 years, then we'll start joinery.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like,
we'll start fixing that plaster.
It's all possible, man. It all depends on what you guys want, right? If you like where you're at, and that's what Gary Vee says. Hey, if you're content and you're happy, fuck, man, that's all you need.
Don't change.
Yeah. Well, change if you want to change. Like you're saying, you can tell that your girl's probably got this drive and she's chomping at the bit and she wants to get out there. So she should.
I agree 100%. It's just giving her that confidence.
And if you can do that and help her and just be like, listen, I know you're scared. I know it's this and that. It's be like, but look, here, I got you the camera. Just go and rock it.
Here you go.
You'd be surprised when you push them a little bit what they'll do, right?
Yeah. She'll be the influencer. She'll have a film fam.
Oh, absolutely, man. And you know how it is nowadays.
I love that, man.
Girls can grow their Instagram like way faster than we could. So
yeah. One booty shake, that's it.
Oh, just jump on that, girl. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Much love, dude. You guys have a great night, okay?
Love you, man. Much love, bro.
All right, later, dude. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
And you, man.
Ciao. Love that guy. Such a good guy. Well, you're all actually great people. And that's why I love Instagram so much. That's why I've taken some time out today to come on, eat some Cheerios, talk with Nathan, see all you guys chatting through here, except for those guys that were dropping all those eggplants in the mouths. Like, what the fuck's with that? But maybe like Nathan said, they're just salty. Why are you so salty? Why are you salty? Oh, these aren't salty. These are sweet Honey Nut Cheerios. But thanks so much, guys, for sitting in again. It's about 2:37 here. I'll probably take off and go get another piece of this furniture. So stay tuned for that. yes, Mickey, he is an awesome fella. Really good guy. Down to earth. Just cool, man. I mean, there's lots of cool people out there. And I'm not saying that, you know, pointing any fingers and playing like favorites. But it's just, I like it when people go out of their way to reach out to me, because I'm busy and I try my hardest to write back to everyone. And that's why sometimes I get a little aggravated when people are like, oh man, it's like, you unfollowed me. And it's like, I didn't follow you, but it's like, you don't even chat with me, you know? And it's like, well, you don't chat with me either. I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm trying to sift through it all. So Nathan's been one guy that we've chatted a lot, and we've talked even about personal things. And that's what I love the most about this. You know, it's the community. It's also the painting. Brazil, hello, Carlito. Best from Canada, man. But that's the great thing about it. So thanks all for staying in. Still got 14 people in here. Man, what do you guys? Sorry, Sam. I know you had shit to do today, and so did I. And I'm going to go piss my wife off. I'm going to buy another piece of furniture. But yeah, so stay tuned, y'all. And I'll get these up on the podcast, Real Paint Talks of PSC. So check it out and stay tuned. And you guys all have an amazing day. Who's all in here right now? Let's see. Dazzling Dave, Time the Painter, YYCMV. Oh, my homie. Thanks for sticking in, man. Talls, right on. Daniel C. Pop, how's it going? We got 09 Weevos. Thanks so much. AS Painting Contractors, thanks for staying in. Sam the Right Painter, of course, always showing the love. C. Shetler, thanks so much. And someone just wrote, C. Shetler, Stevie 2701, the Right Painter, piggyback. Epic. Oh, man. I love you all. But I better go because I can smell something cooking. So that means my daughter's cooking right now. So I better go make sure that my living room isn't on fire. Son's playing the piano, so I'm going to go do that. Maybe I'll drag him along with me in this minus 30 weather to pick up this furniture. Much love, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks again, Nathan. And check this out, Real Paint Talks of PSC on all platforms. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.